recounting of what's happened on BBM then, essentially we have had okay, there we go. Bones came over to Katya, and then Carbon Copy came over. They both tried to woo Katya, as it were. Katya just stared Bones down as like, fuck off. And Bones is like, okay, bye. Meanwhile, Carbon Copy and Katya had a polite-ish conversation. Katya being naturally cagey, but Carbon Copy persisting. And somehow he just had this diffusing nature about him that just kind of let Katya almost not put her guard down, but at least allow a certain bit of weakness.
Relaxing it a little bit.
Relaxing a bit, yeah, yeah. Meanwhile, Whiskey rummaged about for crap to destroy. There was some discussions about, well, maybe it's not the smartest thing considering you don't know how to actually use the chainsaw, and the chainsaw is designed for human hands. Well, you're a troll. I mean, you're a Fomari, and for a Fomari, you're troll-sized. So, Cage and Thrax and Athena were kind of discussing the possibility of showing off their physical might with one another. Whiskey thought about the possibility of asking her boss if they could use the arena before the actual fight for tonight was scheduled to go. Mike tried to have a conversation with Pyrette. It was kind of tense as Pyrette was basically telling Mike he was an idiot for trusting Sybil, and Mike was calling Pyrette a stick in the mud for not trusting Sybil, give or take. Who am I missing here before we get to Okami? Is nothing really significant from Henry, I guess, other than to admit she's a mage. She was also drawn into the Sybil, Mike, Pyrette conversation.
Arenia was just sitting there petting the pups until the pups walked away.
Yeah, the dogs are venturing off, sniffing other things. Smoke basically egged on the combatants for some ungodly reason. Right. Is that is there anything I missed other than obviously the Okami and Ace thing?
I think Frax said hello and not much else he did.
And Katya is still eyeing the dogs, the hounds.
Well, probably the one hound you can see.
She's dual natured, so she can see anything in the astral.
Okay, yeah, she could get his aura, I guess.
Yeah, I think if you're dual natured, that means you're stuck seeing things in both.
Yes. As far as I'm aware, I'm not the GM, so I'm not going to make that. It's a solid thing. You'll have to confirm with the GM.
Yeah, that's what was to my knowledge as well when it comes to being dual natured.
Sorry, the GM was distracted by a private message. What was that?
Dual natured means that you're perceiving both astral and physical.
Dual natured means you are existing in both the physical and astral and cannot shut it off.
Does that mean that you will always see? I mean, you might not be senses you cannot perceive.
No,
you cannot understand it, but
you definitely perceive it. Yes. For example, ghouls, they are physically blind, but they are dual natured, and ergo they can see auras.
Can you still hide though in some way?
Auras are dimmed by physical matter which is not alive, and if you stack enough physical material, it will dim an aura completely.
Okay, they'll probably still spot even the Shadow Hound in the bar, or at least Katya will.
Yeah, Shadowhounds only affect physical vision.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe then we could get to the point where Ace came in. Katya ran up to him, leaving Carbon Copy to himself, who kind of muttered a bit about, oh, I guess that's who she was waiting for. Katya talked to Ace a bit. Okami made it clear that she wanted to speak in private-ish. So she and Ace went off to the side of the room. Katya went back to her table. And, right, Bones. What the fuck were you doing, Bones?
Bones greeted Thrax as he entered, uh, a little bit being like, "Oh, hello there," to Thrax in the revealing outfit, and then Thrax quickly traveled towards the fight group.
Yeah, I think Cage was what Thrax was looking at. He likes his meat big.
Yeah,
Well, it's not even a
Not just
matter of
Sasquatch,
liking. It's
but-
more like, holy shit, it's a fucking Cyclops.
What
Never
were you
expected to see a
saying,
fucking
Twister?
Cyclops.
Bones kind of like was like, all right, and then went to the bar because nothing really interesting was taking place that he could really be involved in. So he kind of like stopped being involved in stuff, I guess.
That's a shame. He probably would have enjoyed West End, Mike, Henry, Sybil, and Pirate.
Probably, but I didn't really personally see room to walk in, and or didn't see a point. Not a point. A point in which it would have made sense to have him walk in. So
You didn't think he could get in the conversation without being awkward,
yes, without Twister being awkward about it.
which Twister already is anyway. Well done, Twister. By the way, Twister, did you see my couch bed?
Did I see what? Sorry.
I sent you a photo in BBM.
no.
But yeah, so Okami and Ace, they had their little lovers spat. No, they're not actually lovers, but spat is probably too soft a word. Where Okami and Ace don't actually speak any of the same languages. So through Carnivore Gold, which doesn't really allow for subtlety and nuance to really translate well, the two of them kind of were butting heads where Okami kept saying, "Tell me the truth," and Ace kept saying, "I'll hint at what I did because if I tell you the truth, then I'm a dead man, and so are you." Um, and after a while, this got really awkward, and Okami kept saying that the other Shadowrunners were also angry at Ace. So Ace is like, "Fine, you know what? Let's go talk to those other Shadowrunners." And then Ace went and he looked at Voin, or who he knows as Daya, and she's glaring at him with like bigger eyes.
Oh, that's not what I was expecting.
Point in Okami's camp.
Well, you're quick to split the group into camps.
Yeah, it's out of character though, but yeah, it's just like Kami's gonna just straight up see this and sees this and goes like, just give you a look, 'cause like, some proof to what I've been saying. You can see. Not saying that out loud, just oh look, it says that.
Oh, anyway, Ace would head to the table with the others as soon as I figure out the right map, and to his normal style, greet everyone, and you know, being courteous.
Mike, I want you to roll a jealousy roll.
All right, and what's that roll?
I don't know. I'm just making that up because god damn is Asa a
Composure?
handsome man. Like, you could see teenage girls looking at the two of you and writing all the slash fic ever. And of course, then there's Bones, and just yeah, there's a lot of pretty people in this bar actually. Also, a couple ugly ones, but a lot of pretty people in this bar right now.
And if you get drunk enough, even more pretty people.
Mike looks over at Sybil and looks to see who she's looking at right now.
Did Sybil have to roll composure to see if she's staring at Bones with the glamour?
A glamour doesn't force you to stare at someone. It's just you definitely feel that that person is either attractive or commanding or oh yeah. So Twister, which way do you feel Bones' glamour manifests?
Soothing. It's very, very soothing.
Okay. So it's not that he's the most handsome man in the room, but he's probably the kind of man where you just kind of want to cuddle up with him and just be held gently.
Well, I guess it would also be commanding. Basically, it developed more and was like directed in bedside manner. So he'd be a doctor being like, "Now I'm going to need you to take these pills once every hour."
So then you're saying it's not so much soothing as it is confidence and commanding presence sort of thing.
Kind of, but I mean, he'd be using it to make sure, like, when he was working in the military, he'd be using it to like make sure that an injured soldier would feel calm and more comfortable, and that makes you a lot more likely to heal.
So
studies that actually that's the case.
I think I know what you're saying. I just don't know how else to verbalize it. So we'll just go with the way you said it and hope that everyone gets that.
So then Sybil casts them, Ace, a glance and a nod, and glance at Bones, but mainly she's looking at Mike.
She only has eyes for you, Mike. Gag.
Then Mike's not jealous.
I do think Mike will be the bottom, though.
Well, no, Bones is going to be the bottom in the sandwich of Mike and Ace.
Ah, yes, that is true.
Well, I mean, we haven't figured that out yet.
Sorry. But yeah, so...
Listen, he's already taken, even if the other man did disappear. And he's literally only here to get stronger and everything because he wants to make the other man proud of him. But that's beside the point. And
yeah,
we're off topic again.
We've got like 5 people here with lost loved ones as a motivation. But Henry waves welcomingly to Ace, and Ace raises his hand as a greeting to Henry.
Athena would also be like a slight hand, like finger wave towards him.
Ace would still continue doing his greetings with everyone, being courteous and polite. Until, he has sort of personally talked to everyone for a few seconds around the table.
Well, just be sure to move his token to where you want him to be. And, right, who else was on that mission? I know Sybil, Voin, Prodigy, Okami.
And Ace,
I
that
think
was
that-
it.
Yeah, because at the time we only had 5 players.
What's the name of the mission?
Vampire Cancelled Masquerade.
Is that before or after the hospital?
After. It
Well
would
after.
be mission 11.
Mission 11.
So let's see here. That's Ace,
That was before
Prodigy, Okami, Sybil, Voin, and yeah, you're right. That's it. We had a
Because we did-
very small team for that job.
we didn't have Desperado, Diablo, or Andre at the time.
Or any of our older players like
Yeah.
Ray and etc. etc. So yeah, Voin and Sybil are the only other people in this room that were on that job with Ace. Prodigy is not present, ergo, it's going to come down to Ace trying to remove the daggers that Voin is stabbing into his face right now, and also to see how Sybil feels about Ace's disappearance.
Although to be fair, Prodigy could be contacted easily enough, I'd imagine.
Oh yes,
It
absolutely.
wouldn't be the first time he's attended virtually.
Out of character, Prodigy is very busy on a personal project and will not be able to show up in VR. Sorry.
Okay then.
So no communications then. Okay.
Well, I mean, you can message him, but he's not taking time to show up and to set everything up.
He's kind of creating something.
Prodigy, what have we told you about trying to pull a Frankenstein and creating life?
Listen,
I'm
I
sorry.
always wanted a brother. Sorry.
Whiskey can suggest way better ways to make a brother.
God damn it. That's not what I meant to do. I'm gonna step away for a moment.
Actually, I think I need a glass of water real quick. Excuse me.
I was thinking more along the lines of making a sex bot, but that works too.
Well, I was not going to say it, but yeah.
I don't know why. I went professional wrestling and he just turned into like Macho Man Randy Savage. Brother! You're not gonna specify that the fact he disappeared while on a job?
Eh.
It's sort of a very key thing about his disappearance.
I'm sure it'll come up. It's not like Mike's going to walk out of here and go, "Oh, well, I don't have anything to do with that conversation."
No, you do have this talent for trying to dig into people's personal space and personal business.
Ooh, me?
So, does Bones try to come back over and talk to Katya?
He's not going to come back like a lost puppy because A, he knows she's a cat. He has sensed it just as well, and B, he has no reason to.
Sorry, what did I miss?
Just jokes.
I made the comment that, are we sure Prodigy's not making a sex bot instead? But,
No, he's not.
But right, so where were we leaving off then? Okami, you were also going with Ace, right? You're not just sitting there in the corner all by your lonesome, because that's
Nope.
where your token is.
I didn't know we have a diagram, so I didn't know exactly. Yeah, okay. Over here.
I'm going to make a quick observation roll of Okami, because she seems one of the more feminine ladies here.
Oh yeah, she is definitely a female, but she does not have any visible tattoos, because I'm pretty sure Bopop was Okami has absolutely no markings, right?
She has no tattoos whatsoever. Unless you count, like, makeup as tribal tattoos.
Yeah, no.
tribal
Okay,
paint.
then. I won't be rolling.
She is definitely a dominant individual, though.
Yeah. She's
Yeah,
a
so-
dominant personality with a very refined taste and look.
And as
Yeah,
Frigid
so
has
Thrax will look her
internal
over
process
very
control.
thoroughly, and then basically ignore her.
And also, Thrax would be able to tell that Aurelial does not have any markings either. And she's
Yeah, I think for
definitely
Aurelial
very
we
feminine.
already wrote and such.
Except she's wearing a kimono, so that doesn't allow for a lot of skin. Right, so Ace, how are you going to do this? Are you going to try to appeal to Voyne, to Sybil, just to the group in general, since some of them have worked with you in the past? Oh, in a second. Right, well, I suppose while we wait, Bones, where the fuck did you go?
He's off in the corner pouting.
Bones at the bar. When he realized that Katya wasn't a conversation piece that he could.
Whiskey is the bartender, so...
Well, I specifically did ask before we went to Katya if there was another bartender, and the answer was yes.
But not over towards Katya. The other bartender would be over here-ish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, since there's no like lines drawn, I really had no idea where everything looked like. So I just hoped it would be there. Okay.
And if
Okay, sorry
Bones,
about that.
and if Bone takes a look, Katya's talking.
Oh, that would just be like a smidgen of an insult. It wouldn't incentivize him to come back.
Well, you would see a party going on over here.
True.
Don't forget to impersonate your token before you say things, Andre. But Cage goes, Bones! Bones! Stop being a limp noodle and join the conversation.
So, as Ace gets to Gaia and greets her, he probably notices the dagger eyes that have been persisting this whole time. So, he would ask her, what's the matter, Daya? You don't seem too happy to see me.
Daya says hi flatly. Also, her token does not look the way that it does.
I remember she has a different haircut.
Okie dokie. And she says, it's Durandal.
My apologies.
Uh-huh.
An awkward silence falls between the two.
Well, things are certainly tense here. Who needs another drink? You new guy. You're a handsome fella. What do you want to drink?
I speak with Katya about this.
Was that in character, Twister?
No, that was out of character. 'Cause
All right, so Ace, you were going to reply?
Whiskey, if you may.
Alrighty then. A whiskey will make you the best whiskey. Ah 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 ah.
What a coincidence.
What a coincidence. You're drunk. Durandal says, you never called Mum.
Yeah, unfortunately the situation was a little bit, complicated.
You're going to call her after this, right?
Definitely. I wouldn't want to make her angry.
And Voyne, aka Durandal, says, good. What is her emotional expression? Is she still flat at this point? she's a bit less tense now, but she's not happy. Still, she's hard to read.
Well then. Ace looks a little bit around. Where's Prodigy?
You probably know he's at home. Sorry, you wouldn't. Daya probably would. Or Durandal would.
I think all of us would know.
I mean,
man.
everyone here except Cage, Thrax, Bones, and Katya have met Prodigy. Oh, sorry, and Carbon Copy.
Carbon Copy's met him.
Wait, yes, he has. Duh, I'm dumb. Sorry.
Cool.
Durandal's the one who offers he's likely at home.
But the reason that I said it like that is because Ace hasn't met him here. So he probably doesn't know where his home is in this country.
Yeah, but Ace was asking in general. You know, as he doesn't see Prodigy.
And indeed, Ace would not see some of the other people, like Mockingbird, who I don't think Ace ever heard what happened to. Well, he knows her as Blackbird. He, as far as he knows, Grim was just the liaison for that one job, so Ace doesn't know Grim. Heinrich, I don't even know if Ace wants to even consider where Heinrich is. Hauser.
Okay.
Okay. Did Ace and Hauser ever work together?
I don't think so.
Out of the blue.
I don't think so.
I'm trying to
Okay.
think. I don't call any jobs.
He definitely knows Rin, because I think Rin was even a little romantically interested in Ace at one point. Because unlike Okami, Rin isn't a complete utter racist. Yeah.
So is the minor strange love triangle between Rain, Okami, and Heinrich?
And Mr. Scarlet had already gone missing in Russia,
Yep.
and you already knew what happened to Whiplash and Nyx. So, yeah, I think that covered... Oh, and Castle. Did Castle, or Rook, rather, ever meet Ace?
I
Yes.
believe so. Yes, and like 2 jobs at least.
The auction mission.
Right. So is Ace going to ask about any of them as well?
Yeah, he's going to ask about the others too, but he was, more interested about Prodigy because, well, he was part of the problem mission, quote unquote.
Right. So we'll get to the questions about everybody else. And eventually, Voin will say that, but only after we get to that point in the story. For now, we just got to figure out the Okami Ace situation and see if maybe Sybil or Voin can help either side of this conflict find resolution. Ace or Okami, by all means, try to appeal to one of the 2 young ladies. See if you can't get them to bitch at the other person on your behalf.
So I guess it would be
I'm a
so
pretty young lady.
it would say it would be Okami. Then we'd speak of Sybil, Durandal. You have anything to say to Ace upon his return and disappearance from that job?
Sybil just drops a text. Glad you're okay. What happened?
Sybil, you know what happened.
I think Sybil's asking for Ace's side of the story.
Yeah.
And we'll just see what Voin has to say. She says, yes, he needs to call and debrief with Mum. It is unacceptable to lose contact without information.
Yes. That is awesomely true, Trundle. And thank you for asking my well-being, Sybil. The situation is slightly complex. Actually, if it wouldn't be too much to ask for, could we step to the side a little bit? Because, no offense to anyone else sitting on this table, but this is sort of a private matter.
I guess since Pyrite's close by, she would say, ask Whiskey, then if there's anywhere private that these people can go off and talk. And just talk, not what it's probably going through your head, Whiskey.
Well, Whiskey, you would know that there are some private spaces here that, you know, they rent by the 10-minute block.
Sybil
Well,
looks
ah.
at-
Well,
Double
that
drops.
kind of is. Sorry, you go first.
Sybil's gonna look at Wes and Mike, then look back at Ace and go, "Can I bring him with?"
Can you bring who?
Sybil is asking Ace if she may bring Mike with her.
Well, I would prefer that the situation would be left between the group that was involved. But
She'll shrug and stand up and then tap Mike on the shoulder.
Athena is going to cross her arms and like stand right in front of Ace, and between them and the group is like, is this a group as a whole, or is this a fraction of people who are no longer sharing all their jobs?
it is the whole group in general, but more specifically, it's the members of the group that
The specific
got
team.
affected by the mission, by Okami's word. And I want to talk to them about the situation.
A situation that will affect us in any way?
I have anything to do with it? No. It won't affect anyone.
So, I don't know if I have to roll or anything, but does he look extremely confident when he says no? Or does he sound like he's kind of being like, I
Is he
don't
waffling?
know. Yeah, I really hope not. Compared to
Ace
the
looks
solid-
always confident
Yes.
because of his
But-
magic.
But the way you phrased it as a player made it sound as if he was waffling.
Yeah.
Does he waffle?
I've never heard that term before.
Waffling means you're not really acting sure of yourself. It's
Like a teeter-totter.
Okay,
I
Off
don't know what that
balance.
means, but I was trying to think, was I really doing that? Because
I was saying-
what I was saying was that
Just a sec. Hunter, you're speech jamming Frosty and I. Thank you.
yeah, you're
It's Frosty, go ahead.
I was trying to say that it might affect the whole group, but I would like to talk with the people that were close, part of that mission, to make sure that it won't affect anyone in the whole group as a, that we work as. That was what I tried to convey.
And if in the future it does, is this a full disclosure clause that comes along with it, or
Was that in character?
yeah. She looks like she's a lot more likely to let it slide at this point, but
Well, you know what kind of job we have chosen for ourselves, so I can't give that kind of a guarantee. But, as I said, I'm trying my hardest to make sure that nothing from this comes to bite anyone anywhere.
He's basically staking his career on it. It's making that statement of Ace understands that if something does go wrong here, it's going to bite him in the ass. He's taking responsibility for that. But he doesn't feel it's appropriate or necessary for everyone to get dragged into this at this point.
oh
Yes,
no, I got that. You put it across pretty clearly.
And Ace is being truthful. He doesn't know how, in the end, if this is going to come and haunt the group. So he can't give you, confirmation that, everything will be okay.
Okay. So after a couple of seconds, Athena's. I don't know how to word this correctly, really, but Athena's basically going to, put, what's the shoulder piece?
Pauldron?
Sure. So basically, she's going to slide a finger on a pauldron, and check it for dust, and then walk away.
Oh, like his shoulder. She's literally.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, the I guess the tip of the shoulder, basically.
Yeah. Okay. The hem of the shoulder of his jacket.
Yeah.
Oh, that was an interesting thing out of character.
Go ahead and see. Do you have any knowledge skill about body language or other cultures or anything like that?
My kinesics gives me the uncanny ability to read body language.
Okay. So, Athena, was that a threat?
I should probably roll judge intentions.
Well, I just want to make sure first with Twister what Athena's intent was with that gesture. Twister's been quiet for a bit now, which has me concerned. Is Twister being kidnapped by Ray? I keep seeing his microphone activate, but no sound is coming.
Nothing.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Okay.
The jester basically meant stay clean, or I will find the dirt.
Okay. And with kinetics, I'd say Ace, you could read her insinuation even without a judge intention roll, just because of the nature of your magical adept powers.
Okay, I didn't hear what tension was.
Oh,
Kind of.
Stay clean, or she's gonna find the dirt.
Okay.
Okay, so Whiskey, you'd know that there's a place that they could go and pay for every 10 minutes they're there and get some excellent privacy. As additionally, there's hallways and bathrooms and other spaces that can't guarantee they can't guarantee they cannot guarantee privacy, but it is more likely to be not overheard compared to having this conversation right here in the middle of a crowd.
Yeah, that's
So yeah, Whiskey would say, well, there are the private rooms usually for when people want to get private. Very, very secure. I mean, it's where the boss sometimes does the business, but to get in there and get us, well, that's gonna cost you by the 10 minutes, pretty much. You can also, I'm also fine with you guys using my room so long as you don't touch anything of my stuff.
that would be extremely helpful. I would appreciate that.
Alright, just don't talk too loudly or else the neighbors might hear whatever you have to say, and that's not my problem.
Out of character, talk to who?
The neighbors might overhear because the walls are paper thin.
Oh, loudly.
So the paid one gives us the best chance of privacy then.
Sybil's gonna
Well,
give
yes,
us.
obviously.
How much is it for 10 minutes?
Depends on if you want just a room with a bed or if you want a room with equipment. Also, if you want the room to be cleaned.
If this
Before or
Pyrite
after?
just goes like, God damn it, Whiskey. What did I just say when I described somewhere private?
If you don't need a bed, there are other rooms with different equipment, such as swings or crosses or quote unquote ponies.
And you can always sit on him, and I can guarantee those rooms have been made soundproof.
Not all of them. The expensive ones are soundproof.
Sybil is going to tug on Mike's lapel and basically go, "Come with me." She wants him along for this talk.
Alright.
Alright.
Okami would front the bail for one of the private rooms that are clean and have a soundproof room.
As Mike is starting to be pulled along, Athena is going to very firmly, you wouldn't be able to budge her hand, grab Sybil's wrist, and grab Mike's wrist, and pull the hands apart. Fairly slowly at that, but firmly, looking Sybil in the eye. And then let go of Sybil's hand, and then let go of Mike's hand a couple seconds later. Wrist,
Do
I guess.
either of you feel threatened by Athena's action?
That requires another one of these. She's not going to swing at Athena.
And Mike doesn't feel threatened because he knows that if Athena wanted to threaten them, that he'd be bleeding already. He's seen Athena.
Instead, Athena is getting a very nasty glare from Sybil.
You heard the conversation she just had with Ace. So the fact that Sybil thinks that Mike should join the conversation when she shouldn't be joining the conversation has pissed her off a bit.
Is Athena articulating any of that?
Oh no, she's not. Actions speak louder than words to her sometimes. So that's all she's doing, but she isn't she's making it probably very clear that Mike's not coming along for this ride, whatever this ride is supposed to be.
Sybil's going to tap on her tablet a bit, and Athena's going to get a direct message. If it involves me, it involves him now.
This is an AR, right? Because she doesn't have AR on. The two of you haven't. The two, they've met before, right?
Who?
Sybil and Athena.
Well, yeah, you were on that mission to find the dirty cop.
Yes. Okay. So she knows that she's immune. Okay, good. That makes that part easier.
So Sybil has written something on her tablet and flipped the screen over
No,
to
she
show
sent a private
Athena.
message.
Was it private or was it written?
It was a private message directly to
then
Athena.
then Athena's not getting it because Athena shut off her AR.
Yeah, that's I said I think I said that last session or in
BBM. It was in BBM.
But yeah, I did specifically say that one.
Well, then when Sybil doesn't hear any tones or see anything happening with Athena,
It's Sybil. You could sense that Athena doesn't have it on.
then she would turn it around and kill her. But I don't know if Athena reads German or Russian.
I think she has some Russian actually.
You have Carnivore Gold.
Yeah.
Carnivore Gold can take a photo of it,
I have Russian,
translate
natural.
it, and
Yeah.
press it.
Russian is her natural language, so she has it.
So yeah. She
What
most
was the message? Right, that Mike goes with me or whatever. So Athena, what's your
Athena-
response to that?
If I'm trying to think of just a sec. Let me think of a
Well, straight up, Mike wasn't part of that job.
yeah. Unless it involved Mike being in the mission, then I see no reason why he would stand to be involved in a secret that isn't being involved in anyone else, except very specifically, physically we're there.
go
Mike-
right again.
Mike, you're a diplomat, right?
Well, I can be.
Do you want to be a diplomat right now?
Yeah, this time I
Okay,
think some
so-
diplomacy would help.
So perhaps you should recommend to Athena that Mike goes with Athena and they wait outside of the room. That way, Sybil knows Mike is nearby, and also Athena can make sure Mike isn't sneaking into the room.
I would propose that, asking that if that would satisfy both ladies.
And then actually, Athena's going to be looking at Ace. So, how does Ace respond to that one?
To your look? Or
No, to the proposal that Mike be just outside the room with Athena while you're having the private conversation with Sybil, Okami, and Durandal.
I think that's reasonable. If the room really is soundproofed.
You got the
Oka-
soundproof room, right? So-
Yeah, Okami's shelling out for the soundproof.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
Okami's
you have
showing
to-
up for a clean, soundproof room.
By the way, Sybil's exact first message was, if it involves me, it now involves him. Because they are
But yeah, but Mike gave a diplomatic proposal. Does Sybil agree with it?
She'll give an exasperated wave of her hand and just start walking off.
I think I don't need judge intention or anything to see that there might be something deeper going on between Sybil and Wes and Mike.
Oh no, that's yeah. Fuck. They've been blabbing about it to everyone else. I think, Ace, being the kinesics expert he is, could pick up on it. But yeah, so and Voin, would you agree to this as well, to go with Okami and Ace and Sybil? Yes. Okay. So the four of you go to the private room, but we're just going to say this out loud because we're all just players in the same story here. Athena and Mike, you're waiting outside of the room, and you can verify that, yeah, this is a soundproof room. Additionally, which wasn't described to any of you, it is also a signal blocked room. You're in a giant
Oh.
Faraday cage.
Sybil's. The moment she sets foot in that room and the door closes, she turns around and walks right back out. She is uncomfortable in any place that doesn't have signal.
What a millennial.
What is the matter?
You had to agree with Twister there.
You're not allowed to do that. I'm a millennial. I'm allowed to make these jokes. Gallo jokes are fine.
This room makes Sybil thinks of how to explain the fact that she's extremely uncomfortable in a room without signal.
The other thing that this room had was BDSM equipment.
She's gonna point at the equipment and go,
Give a con roll.
It's not gonna amount to much, but
Should I roll judge intention as well?
You may indeed attempt it, yes, but this is mainly for West End Mike and Athena, who will be the ones that are looking Sybil in the eyes as she points to the room and shakes her head. Kara, was that actually in character?
oh shit!
Defender wins. Congratulations. You've made a...
Wow, everyone tied.
Technically, that would mean that Okami and Ace, you're looking at the back of her. You don't. This was actually more for Athena and Mike to roll. All that you two know is that Sybil was immediately uncomfortable going into that room, turned around and walked back out.
Well, keep in mind, Mike probably already has had that explained to him. As a matter of fact, I'm fairly certain he has.
Yeah, but still, Mike, I just want to see what your gut reaction is. Athena, you haven't been told yet Sybil's a technomancer, correct?
Correct.
So, you know, it's something like she doesn't want to go in there. She's pointing at the room in general, not to the BDSM equipment specifically. That's all that you can really tell.
And
Mike, you immediately can read your girlfriend that there's something technomancer related to that room that she doesn't like.
Well, like I said, she's already explained to me that dead zones are actually painful, so it doesn't take a genius in this case.
Ace asked as she walked out, "What's the matter?"
like that equipment, I can't. No. That room, no.
Remember,
Okay,
you
Ace
you
is
you
kinda-
can't talk, so you're
I know.
going to be sending messages.
Yeah, that's what she's sending. That room, no.
Can we judge intentions on that?
It's text.
Okay.
You've already rolled to
room.
you've already read her. Well, Ace, you could look around this room and say, yeah, this is pretty kinky stuff. I mean, the fact that Voin seems totally at home here might actually be more disconcerting than anything.
Yeah, but we are all in a. At least I hope we are all in a same mind space that we're here to talk.
She gives Mike a look, and it's like, and sighs, and goes back in.
All right, so can we do a quick version of this conversation, or do you want to role play it out in detail?
Well, I'm okay with the quick version, so everyone else gets also some time in the spotlight.
Kara, Abo Bob, Hunter.
I'm fine with the quick, but also unsure of what the context is of this, so it's hard to say whether it for that.
Sybil is pressed up against the door, tapping her foot, motioning for things to hurry the fuck up.
Yes, but I'm talking out of character.
Got nothing really to say. Both in character and out. So
Okay. So, Frosty, why don't you go ahead because you're the one who wants to do the explaining here.
Okay. So Ace would basically tell the others that Okami confronted him at the door and basically is accusing him for the death of the... What was he? Executive?
Yes, an Evo executive.
Or the Evo executive. And that he was the one, according to her, that murdered him. And is claiming that all this has hurt and caused quote-unquote problems for the group.
And would Ace then give Okami a time to either correct anything she feels Ace got wrong or for Okami to amend additional information?
Of course.
Okay, so Kara, did you want to say that before or after Okami? All right, well, Darendelle will say the point being, if you killed him or not, did that interfere with the job?
So who's the question being asked to?
Ace, obviously.
Okay.
Well, that is the question. I mean, I did leave the mission unfinished. But the question was, did that interfere with your work?
Okay, Okan would speak up.
Durandell says, we accomplished the mission. I do not see how this is relevant. I imagine she looks at Okami when she says that last bit.
I
Okami
would
would
give the
speak.
time to...
Let's see what Okami has to say.
Okami would speak up. I didn't say whether you murdered the man. I said the psychometry search of the room gave us the information that you either the one who pulled the trigger or the one you were at least in association with the murder.
And is Okami going to respond at all to Durandell?
And as for accomplice mission, we did accomplish mission, but we accomplished the mission at unnecessary and excess risk because we could have accomplished the mission in a faster and more professional manner if we weren't distracted by red herrings of other things, including the personal thing that Ace decided to do mid-job. That wasn't part of our job.
Well, as Kara types, Ace is going to clarify, well, quote-unquote clarify that what she was saying at the when they were talking, when he entered, was that it didn't matter that Ace, or I would have this succinctly. basically that he did say. Never mind. I have to think how I'm going to put this.
All right, so Durandal says, our job is to accomplish the mission. This mission has already been accomplished with all parameters and variables already factored in and accounted for. Are you suggesting we are not finished with that mission?
Are you saying that you're perfectly okay with him going AWOL from a mission and putting the mission at risk?
Sybil looks
Eh.
at. Sybil will look at Okami. And is there any signal for her to drop an AR message?
The other people in your group, their devices are still working. So you are in a very tight network. You cannot reach the broader matrix, though.
Yeah, I know. She's gonna drop a message in the room. Shall we not talk about you coming back covered in blood?
I was going to get to that once he explained with everything else. I was going to inform him that his little Vori friend is no longer a member of the living.
Ace, want to do a composure roll? And Durandal will say, the mission has been complete. It doesn't matter what happened then because we already accomplished it. I fail to see what the issue is.
And as to Durandal, you don't see a potential risk for future missions that may involve him if he's willing to go off the reservation?
Character. What is off the reservation? I'm not.
It's actually a really insensitive statement, suggesting, based on the premise of First Nations people being basically put into reservations. And
Not the origin of that? Because I always origin that's more of the spy movie use of that term.
I'll be honest. I interpreted it as VT was saying it, but I didn't know that was literally what it was.
I might be wrong, but I can't think of any other way to.
I'll go look it up.
But let's not get sidetracked by that. I'm sure Okami would have used an appropriate Japanese idiom instead.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did explain to you, Okami, I do apologize for going missing in action, but like I explained to you, the situation was that I was offered information, verified information at that was for my personal reason why I'm doing this job. So, if that would help me find that goal and finish it, I would.
A more succinct way to put it, Ace chose the priority mission objective of his personal mission. Yes, he apologizes for that, but he admits fully he will do it again in the future because the only reason he is in Shadowrunning is this personal mission objective.
So, Okami would speak up.
Frosty, you want to clarify if I got that right?
No, you got that completely right, but I was also going to say that the problem that Ace at the moment has is that Kami is basically trying to make him admit that he was the one to murder. She's obsessed with that for some reason.
Right. So Ace is also going to say that this seems to be like Okami's just trying to provoke an admission of guilt. Meanwhile, Durandal says, we already accomplished a mission without his follow-through. Unless you're assuming you have an inability to function with such situations, which would compromise our success, then I see no issue, I'm guessing that's supposed to be no issue, in my own ability to adapt as needed. So Voin is telling Okami, suck it up, Buttercup, we have to adapt. This stuff happens as par and parcel of being a Shadowrunner. So, Okami?
to first you reply to Ace first and be like, I'm not seeing you to admit. I'm just saying I know you either the one who did it or didn't. I just want to know why. Because you just admitted yourself to everyone here, and Durandal, this is the point I'm going across. How can we trust you if you're admitting that the fact that you willfully just abandoned us and the mission that time, and you're fully willing to do that again at a moment's notice if it's for your own personal benefit in some form?
And Voin will immediately say, I don't trust any of you.
Bit of an and doing. I'm gonna say to Okama's gonna say to Durandal, that's a bit of an issue considering when you're working as a team on anything, there has to be some modicum of trust there to make sure that the mission can be accomplished. Because no one can complete missions we go on but just by themselves, because no one has the skill sets to do everything needed to do to accomplish the mission.
Sybil's gonna drop a message. Look, none of us trust each other. We all have our own secrets. I have my secrets. Ace has his. Durandal has hers, and I'm pretty sure you have yours. We don't trust each other, which is why we still have our own secret. For our safety, not just the team.
Darndal says, I work as a team. I work towards the objective. If anyone fails a task, you have to adapt or also fail. And Frosty, you can speak for yourself, or is your throat hurting?
I will say that. To clarify that, I didn't say I would abandon the team for any reason. Just this one specific.
So, out of character, a Bob, it looks like Okami has now just been forced to swallow a very difficult pill. Working with Shadowrunners is not like working with her corporate teams back home. She has to either accept the fact that Shadowrunners are capricious and whimsical and
In her opinion, stupid.
Okay, you can call them that, but what's that other word? Fickle. Shadowrunners are fickle. Is she going to just accept this? Is she going to storm out of the room, or is she going to have some kind of middle ground here?
It's just like, I'll have a middle ground, we only work for the rest of you, but myself and my new student will not be working on any jobs when it involves Ace as well.
So that's two characters of the Bobs now
Yeah.
that are refusing to work with other player characters.
It's what they would do. I mean, because of Okami's thing, she would not be willing to work with Ace.
Stubborn. Yeah, so your characters are stubborn.
Ace
Well,
would also. No, go ahead.
It's just the problem thing is that it's this act though, and just again, she's trying to just hit this off at the head first, and just like, you are a self-admitted risk that's willing to do this. So what is to stop you, Ace, from, hey, we'll give you this, whatever your primary goal is. What's to stop you from, or any of us, in fact, for you just openly betraying us and turning us in, or doing anything else that can endanger our lives at a whimsy?
It's a very good thing Prodigy is not in this room.
Why? Why would he say?
Oh, because I'd have him roll a composure, and if it failed, he'd say he'd kill everyone in this room to get his mom back. So it's
Wow.
a damn good thing
Well,
he's not in this room.
So, Ace would also try to clarify the situation with that because of the circumstances surrounding the getting the information, he had to make a very quick decision, and he did. He was given a choice to basically leave now or not get the information. Technically, he would try to explain that he had to go quickly because of what was the basis of the deal.
Yeah, it's actually, and a Bobob, since your characters are the stubborn ones, if other players choose characters for missions that you had already declared Okami or Heinrich, it's your stubborn characters who'd have to make the decision whether they are quitting that job, and therefore you can try to assign an alternative, or if they're willing to swallow their pride and just distance themselves from that other Shadowrunner during the mission.
Yeah, because I was going to ask, what happens if Athena and Ace are working on a mission in the future? But
Bobob's got multiple characters.
Oh, I know.
What Hunter brings up, though, is that Bobob declared Okami on the next mission, and Frosty declared Ace. So, yeah.
But a lot of that, both of those situations both happened in roleplay after we've declared stuff with situations like that.
So yeah, Bobob has to make the decision whether or not his character is going to follow through on the job, or if he's going to bring a different character in.
She's gonna have to bite the pill on that one because she's new in town. She's not immediately just turn down a job as soon as she's back into town, because you don't do that to start your credentials in a new area.
Okay. Was there any other in-character things any of you wanted to discuss, or have we pretty much established the feelings of these four characters?
It just pretty much the question is just to Sybil and Durandals is, are you guys both perfectly okay with working with a person who just openly admits to willing to shoot all three of us in the back if given the chance in the right reward?
Durandal said something along those lines already, I believe. So, no, maybe not. But she says yes. Last traitor I shot in the chest.
I'm guessing that was Mockingbird. And if
Out of character, was Sybil at all involved in that?
no,
Word
this
of
is
that
out of
had.
character.
Yeah. Okay. Out of character. Yes.
Out of character. That
Out
was
of
Mockingbird.
character. Kara is referring to that. Yes.
I'm pretty sure Dea shot her in the head, not in the chest.
Yes, it was the head.
It was a chest shot, which caused Blackbird to drop Mockingbird and fly off. Then Durandal or Voyne or Dia, whatever name, walked up to the downed Mockingbird and double tapped her in the skull.
Does it make sure she stayed down? And we never clarified what exactly is the story of the group as to why Mockingbird suddenly disappeared. And what happened that night that caused everyone to immediately just rush forward and leaving Russia.
That just doesn't get started. It hasn't been talked about. People have been tight-lipped. People haven't been asking questions. Shadowrunners go away all the time. Mistress Scarlet went away. Nyx went away. What's the whip one? Whiplash went away. As Shadowrunners, you aren't a cohesive team. You're just Shadowrunners who work with each other on a regular basis because you share contacts. With the exclusion of Henry, Pyrette, Voyne, and
Castle.
Castle's not here right now. Well, Cajun Bones are new entries. I'm talking about people who came from the Aerith Forge. They were a team in the past, but now they're technically solo agents who just work with each other routinely.
It's gotten habit for them to pretty much work together. They know each other kind of well.
And they look out for one another in various ways, but they're not a full-blown cohesive unit. And honestly, for those who knew Blackbird back in Hamilton and then knew Mockingbird, they would have noticed some personality differences. So it would be just as easy for them to say, "Oh, well, I guess like she just didn't fit in anymore and left." It's not that odd for her to have gone. It's just those who were present know what happened.
Mm.
Frosty, did you want to say that in character?
Yeah, I think I can do better when I first write what I'm thinking and then reading it out loud.
That's probably a good idea. Go ahead.
Also, to clear some air in the room, I will say to you what I said to Kami when she accused me so fervently about being the one pulling the trigger on the silky tip for some reason. If someone would do something like that on someone's house that is among the strongest in Russia, do you really think they would be living long? Unless there was something else in the background going? I noticed my typos there.
Basically, Ace is just calling attention to the fact for Sybil and Voyn's benefit that it wasn't an unsanctioned killing of the Evo executive, or at least hinting to it strongly.
Oh, Kami's gonna
Also,
speak
please
up.
note-
I was a... Okay.
Sorry, Frosty, you go first.
I was just about to say that, but also he's making sure that he's not implicating himself.
Yes, no, yeah, exactly. Then Okami, you were going to say?
It's also likely that since I did notice that the white ghoul was also peeking in and doing all of this from the doorway, that you could easily be just in, maybe not killed, but could maybe be used as something as leverage against you at a later date if they have need of your skill set. Instead of outright killing you, make a tool. Is that also not a viable scenario?
Technically, and it was gonna.
Isn't that what we are already? Tools for others?
It was also gonna drop another message. They can already do that to all of us because of some of the work we did for them.
Yes, but if you do that, that shores up your talent pool. It's always nice to have an occasional person you don't have to pay to do this, to have the services.
They can already do that because they know our faces.
Again, though, I was just saying, it's like, you don't do that openly. Otherwise, your talent pools that you can draw from shrivel up as people is less likely to work with you. Do this here and there on occasion, so you just have this one little... I hate to use this term, because Americans, so we use this all the time, an ace in your sleeve, in case you need something you can do without having to spend any extra coin.
I'm proud of you.
Indeed. So yeah, it looks like basically the way this conversation's boiling down is that Okami thought she'd be able to convince Voyn and Sybil to be angry at Ace for Ace abandoning them on the job and being a potential liability in the future. Meanwhile, Voyn and Sybil are both of the opinion that, well, Ace did what he had to do. He screwed us on that job. Doesn't mean that we trust him. It also doesn't mean that we're about to refuse to work with him ever again. We're going to watch him more closely, maybe, but we're not calling it quits. And Frosty?
Ohana means family.
Sorry, what was that, Twister?
Ohana means family. Family means you don't drop someone because they almost...
Murdered somebody, yada yada.
Yeah.
Well, the point is,
Sorry.
so we don't know. Like, Okami has admitted, she doesn't know whether Ace actually was the one who pulled the trigger or not. She just knows trigger was pulled, the guy's dead, so he's either guilty of murder or guilty of murder by association.
Or maybe Ace was just a bystander that's been dragged into a more complex situation. You don't know.
If it was, you
just
could
know
have said
that I was there.
Okami's a black and white kind of girl, though. So,
Yeah, I've noticed.
but you
She's
want
as stubborn as a goddamn. I don't even know.
stubborn
Her
as a bull,
personality is
like Minos.
Well, Minos was more.
I'm
Like
joking.
that.
I'm joking. But yeah, so Ace would also say, if you ask me, whoever did the deed did not need much skill. And anything from Voin or Sybil before we wrap all that up?
Sybil's at this point rubbing her head. Just, is this over yet so I can get out of this room?
Feel free to go. Pretty much, I guess at this point is when we're ending the conversation. If it's causing her such physical duress, I think we'll be ending the conversation. Maybe there might be some things here left still to
And
say.
Okami, Voin, and Ace can all make another judge intentions roll on Sybil if they care. If you don't care, don't bother rolling.
Well, it's clear that it's not the equipment if she's rubbing her head as a headache, but it's not really that big of a matter.
Yes, but I'm asking you to roll judge intention for your character to pick up on that.
Oh.
But yeah, Ace will definitely, with like not even a single one rolled. Okami, you will kind of clue in as well that it looks like Sybil's got a headache, but Okami, you don't have any knowledge on technomancers as far as I'm aware. Although you did read her aura, didn't you?
Yeah, she does have a. It's definitely weird from a normal pure aura.
So Okami could potentially do some research and find out what that aura means, but for now she just knows Sybil has an abnormal, non-magical aura. And I'm guessing Voin doesn't give a shit. All right, so those of you who want to exit the room may, but I kind of imagine that Okami and Ace are going to have just a couple of last words once it's just the two of them again. Unless, Voin's making a point of staying in the room to watch both of them.
They're probably going to be using some of the equipment.
No, Voin fucks off. Okay. So, Athena, did you have any conversation with Mike, or did you just kind of glare at him when he asked you about using the equipment?
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear that point. What was the comment?
Mike made a joke. So you ever use any of that equipment before? Pointing into the BDSM room.
Athena would probably look in and like wiggle her head a little bit to the side, trying to remember, and then look at him and like wink, and then look away.
Was that a con wink?
It was a wink.
Yes, but were you doing it seductively, or
What?
like as a joke? Like what kind of wink was it?
I guess the phrase is I don't kiss and tell. A secretive wink. I don't know if that's considered seductive in this modern world.
Then I think your body language would speak for itself, and Mike, you'd get the picture.
Fair enough.
Okay. The last thing Okami would say to Ace.
Oh, I think
Well,
Frosty's gathering his thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm writing something down. I'll try to do it quickly. I'll just, maybe quickly ask someone else what they're doing. I'm quickly trying to write.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that's. I was just seeing if there was any conversation going on between Mike and Athena, or did Athena basically shut Mike down with just the wink? I don't kiss and tell.
Yeah. She shut him down pretty quickly.
All right, Mike, would you change subjects?
Probably not. I'd probably be okay just waiting in silence.
You
And
wouldn't
I'd
want
imagine
to.
that once they're done, Sybil darn near knocked the door down trying to get out.
Yeah, but Mike wouldn't have tried to address Athena's curtness with grabbing wrists.
Well, I mean, if
No,
he-
I'm asking him first if he'd even bring it up.
I think he'd let it slide. Again, he's only worked with her once or twice, so he doesn't know if this is how she normally is or if she's just stressed out right now.
Okay. And Athena, you didn't want to bring up any topics with Mike?
have they worked together? I think.
Yes, yeah, on the Grim mission and on the Hamlin mission.
Yeah, the mage in the hole. So they know each other. I'm trying to think of what a line of conversation would be, but at this point,
Well, both of them have worked with Grim, and they know Grim is a raging racist.
that's true.
They've both worked with Rin, Heinrich.
Actually, quick question: has Athena earned Grimm's respect yet?
Fuck no.
No,
Fuck
not
not.
even with like destroying protected property. An accident.
Yeah, exactly. So Grim would just be like, "Oh, so now you're a vandal as well as a freaking knife-eared Keeb?"
Vandalize your face if you'd like.
And then immediately you get shot and arrested
Well,
with
I
letting
mean,
the police officer.
she could shoot, but then we'd have to see how that ends out.
No, we're saying other cops show up to give Grim backup.
Yeah.
Because that's something else Kara and I have to talk about. The London PD kind of doesn't want Grim to get any credit. And because they don't want Grim to get credit, Grim's chief is going to want Grim to take all of the credit for the Remoras. And so Grim's chief is going to be like, okay, we need to put you in the limelight. So Grim might end up becoming a hero to all the cops in Gravesend.
Wow. So we got a celebrity in our midst?
Not yet. We have to find out how Grim handles it. You know, if Grim wants to, she could potentially sabotage this by getting caught in a minor scandal, like sleeping with somebody she's not supposed to, so that it tarnishes her record just enough that, the chief is like, well, shit, I guess I'm not going to be putting you up on a pedestal.
Sleep with your boss. That'll really.
Well, she could try and get him drunk enough that he'll forget that he's not supposed to do that, I suppose. But that would probably get her fired.
True.
Being straight-laced, Kara, doesn't mean that Grim necessarily wants to be in the limelight. So... But that's something to discuss during another session. While Frosty's still typing, Henry, Reniel, Pirate, Smoke, Whiskey, Cage, Thrax, Bones. Are any of you doing anything with one another right now? During this whole 20 minutes of time that Ace and Okami took.
I think Frax would indeed kind of, Cage already called Bones to them, and so Frax would basically also encourage Bones to join them.
Twister, would Bones join the bisexual hunka meet?
I mean, he isn't bi, but they're proud of the like to. So yeah.
No, I'm saying Thrax is bisexual.
Yeah, well, you said join the meet. As in,
Yeah,
Thrax
is a piece of meat.
Oh, M-E-A-T.
Yeah, bit of a butterface though.
I thought you were saying it was also Cage in there. That was bi.
I think Cage is asexual, if I recall Andre correctly. But yeah, Bones, what was your boyfriend's metatype? Elf? Orc? Human?
Bones? Bones is a dryad.
No, his boyfriend.
Oh, you're talking about Nathan.
Yeah, Nathan.
Nathan was, I think, a human.
Human. Okay.
Yeah,
So
human.
how does Bones feel about fangs and pointed ears with red eyes?
I mean, he's got a little bit bulkier figure, but it's not. I'll just roll. Wow, I don't have this character sheet open.
You get to decide your character's own
Oh, I know.
sexuality. You don't need to make a roll.
Oh, I know. But when I don't have a decision at the moment,
You let the dice decide for you.
exactly. It's safe. Lack of a better phrase. Yeah, he's pretty hot. He's not Nathan. No one is Nathan except Nathan.
But you're okay flirting with this hobgoblin.
Yeah.
And Thrax, would you be interested in this?
Extremely attractive young man.
Yes.
No, he's not young. He's not
Well,
young at all.
moderate aged.
Yeah, he's
No,
he's
he-
48.
He is a dryad, so he looks
Yeah,
young.
that's true.
Yeah, and Bones would, from the description of the area he puts on, that would certainly be Thrax's type, as it were.
Really, Thrax isn't into like men like Cage. Thrax is into men like Bones.
Well, he's also into men like Cage, but in that case, Thrax does like to be the dominant one in that situation. So in that
Okay.
case, you get a bit of a dominant struggle, possibly.
Would Bones resist, flirt, or play coy?
There's a specific word I'm looking for here. Sinadre. There we go. That's the word.
Sorry.
So he's initially going to like pretend to not get it, and then he's probably going to like throw in a couple lines to show that he does. But does he actually?
It's all gonna go right over Thrax's head.
Oh yeah. So
You say that, but Thrax has a pretty high intuition, so I'm not
Okay.
sure.
But what's his charisma?
Fairly garbage. Let me just pull up the number.
1 or 2.
Yeah, that deafening echo speaks volumes.
man,
It's a solid one.
Yeah, okay. So you'd roll your intuition plus charisma to do a judge intentions on Bones' playful banter. And yeah, Bones with a body of 5. Okay, he's pretty solid, especially
Well, yeah,
for an elf.
he had to, yeah, I know it's one underneath the Medicap. He had to go through military training. I factor that in. He's really bad at reaction and agility, but across the board, actually, let me check.
He's a gear monkey.
No, that's what I was going to describe him as. I'm checking Sans magic, how, like his attributes versus Athena's.
Oh, poor Thrax. But yeah, so I think the two of you are at least developing a rapport, even if it's just playful banter. Whiskey, you're probably getting along with Cage, yeah? Developing a friendship there.
Yes, probably.
And Smoke's also probably kicking in there too.
And don't worry, Andre, Cage is already awkward, but he's also so big and sure of himself that the awkwardness at least can be played off for a laugh. I mean, it's not like Cage is trying to impress the queen at dinner, you know? That would be very bad for Cage. Have you seen The Big Friendly Giant?
Oh,
The
Has-
movie
has-
or the
yes.
cartoon?
yeah.
The movie.
I like the animated one better.
I was going to say, I didn't imagine any of you would have, but apparently some of you have. there is a scene in that movie where the big friendly giant has tea and crumpets for breakfast with the Queen of England, and it is awkward and painful.
It
I believe
was
it.
it was cute from what I remember, but whatever.
Cute, awkward, painful. Eye of the beholder.
But yeah, Whiskey would also be very much interested in kind of well, they would obviously Cage and her would be obviously be talking about weapons, but Whiskey would also very much be like also like going around the room, making sure everyone has drinks, and also figuring out exactly trying to figure out things for them to do to entertain themselves.
Okay,
So I
and
guess
would
smashing kegs in the alley behind the bar would be on the menu.
okay, and would Whiskey try to seduce Cage at all, or would she feel that's a betrayal of Alistair?
They have an open relationship, so I don't think that would be a betrayal or anything. I wonder if she. I don't think she would be all that interested in Cage, though. I may make
Ah,
a
okay.
composure roll, but she generally, I think she goes for smaller men.
Smaller, prettier men.
Quite so, yes. But well, she is whiskey and she is drunk, so.
No, she'd need to drink a bit more to get drunk. Smoke, would you be involved in any of these? Would you have gone to Pirate and Henry, Irenial? Where did you go?
Probably doing some small talk with Whiskey and Cage, getting to know them since he's never met them before. And that might actually be why he takes Whiskey's mission. Mission to help out Whiskey.
Okay, fair enough. Pirate, are you going back to your homework or are you having conversations with Henry, even though you're roommates and you can have conversations anytime? For that matter, sorry, go ahead.
Because they pretty much you would see that she's not part of a conversation, and she would judge whether she should stay near the hallway to see if anything goes down with the group or not. And she would just go like, put a cigarette out.
She could always send a Watcher Spirit.
Yeah, she could always send a watcher spirit, but she doesn't feel like. She would.
So-
She would just send a watcher spirit, keep an eye to
Okay.
just make sure nothing goes down in the hallway, and then go back to go back to her work she needs to do for the mentor spirit, and then put out her cigarette.
Okay, Henry's basically just keeping to herself, Kara. Erenial, you're kind of alone. Would you? Oh, well, apparently Bones came over to you.
Yeah.
Gave up on Thrax.
Yeah, well, he didn't quite get the small talk. You know,
He is
It kind
a
of
he
is
is
a
a
little
straightforward, brutish man indeed, and he
Yeah,
speaks limited English, so that also doesn't help.
well, I mean, if you prefer Spanish or Mandarin,
Nope.
do my best. No,
Turkish.
that's fair. Any Arabic?
No, just straightforward Turkish.
But it looks like Frosty finally finished that message a little while ago. So,
And then went AFK.
oh, is he AFK right now? No, he just sent a message.
Oh.
So, Frosty, what was Ace going to say to Okami when everyone else was exiting the room?
I have to say, you are probably the most stubborn and self-assured person I have ever met. I know, and I don't know why you put so much pressure on the death that happened and then back out of it later. But for once, listen to what I say and try to see what I'm saying in those words. I did leave suddenly. I did not inform anyone. I did choose personal goal over the mission, but I also thought it over, measuring the pros and cons. It's unfortunate that the executive died in that party, but I am sure that there was something more going in the background. After all, the world is filled with powerful people that you don't want to anger.
So, Okami, do you feel that Carnivore Gold will do a good enough job translating that Okami's picking up on what Ace is actually saying? Or is she still oblivious to... Oh, so you would go ahead and say what you need to say then.
She would look to make sure that the door to this room is closed, and if it isn't, she would go over there and close it herself before she replies. If I come across as stubborn, I apologize. It is and was from the training I received back home within the temple when I learned how to use my powers. The key thing taught to me is that any of our actions has more consequences and rippling effects than we can comprehend ourselves. Like the potential ripple your actions leading to more danger to ourselves. When you left us, without the potential support that we could have used when we were trying to bring the rogue mage back in line, and from releasing the wrath of those two spirits, those two great spirits I mentioned, that were controlling the weather around the manor. With your powers, Ace, and she has seen your powers in use before, Ace, you could have calmed the mage down from her attacking us. Said conflict then led to her flinging me from the rooftops of that place into the ground below, causing me to black out. And when I woke up from said blackout, I was covered in blood, and your boyfriend was before me on the ground, torn apart. Or how I probably typed it better as that. Because your boyfriend torn apart before me.
Frosty, does Ace have a rebuttal?
Yes. I do understand your upbringing and your, would be the right word, anger towards my decision to leave, as I could have helped. However, it seems you're just not listening close enough what I have been saying. I am sorry for what happened back there. I'm sorry that I wasn't there. But I made a choice, and I can't change that now.
Good to see you actually finally apologize.
He apologized from the beginning.
Well, when we met, sorry, take that back then, because when I was first talking to him, he never apologized at all. But yeah, fact of the matter is, though, Ace, is that doesn't matter what the others say and stuff like this, there always has to be some degree of trust whenever you're working with anyone else on anything. Do you not agree?
I agree. And I would like you to trust me that the decision I made was not in ill intent or in any way meant to harm the group. In fact, some might say it might have been the other way around. After all, you said it. You need to have trust.
Yeah. And what stopped you from at least telling us or giving us any forewarning or anything going on? You just disappeared. Communication is also a key point of trust.
At this point, Ace would seem a little frustrated and basically be preparing to leave, as he says that you probably should hone those listening skills of yours a little bit. As I have explained it several times. But I think we should join the others at the party as the time is coming up with this room.
Mhm. Okay. Ace, as you turn your back, and before you open up the door, you would see Okami behind you, naked.
Wait,
What?
what?
I'm going somewhere with this. You'll understand in a second.
We'll see.
You know what? I'm going to take this opportunity to say, be right back.
Yeah, I think right after this, it's going to be break time. So if who wants to take a break now, go ahead and take a break now.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not missing any
I'm
of this.
saying this for a reason, because Ace, when you turn it back around, she would tell you straight up, if you betray us again, decide that your self-worth is more important than everyone else, and it puts any of our lives at risk again because of that. Me and the pack would do to you what I believe I did to that Vori woman, and she would transform into a large white wolf. And the rest of her pack, one of the wolves is a lot larger.
Cast your magical spell, please. This is not.
Okay.
You're not a shapeshifter. You have to actually spend
Yeah, I know,
the
I can
effort
cast-
to transform.
Yeah.
You're very lucky Thrax is not there.
Yeah, critter form wolf. 11 SO4. This is why she's stripped naked, because my clothes don't change. So I'm not going to tear my clothes apart. 2 hits. Enough to change.
And then resist the drain.
Is... Honestly, what is the drain value?
You're supposed to declare force.
I don't see the point of... Okay.
It's on page 211 of Shadowrun core rulebook.
I know, I'm
Rules,
looking at it, but
yeah,
when I read that, it's just like force isn't... I don't see how force affects the critter form. So it could just be force 1 and I turn into the wolf anyway. Doesn't change the stats or anything.
force limits the number of hits that you need.
So is there any positive aspect of picking a force higher than 1?
All right, so voluntary subject, a normal temperate critter. The subject retains human consciousness. The subject can only assume the form of a critter with its base body rate of 2 points greater. Add 1 point. Consult the critter section for the subject's physical attributes for the critter form. Add 1 to the critter's base attribute ratings for every hit the caster generates. So, it's to make your critter form more powerful than what it would normally be. So yeah, if you're literally just changing shape, the thing is, it's not an instant transformation. It will take a little bit of time. So Ace, are you staying in the room to watch her get naked, turn into a wolf, and make her wolves manifest?
Well, I think as I was leaving, she was already, dropping her clothes, and then got
Yeah.
Ace's attention to turn
Yes,
around.
I'm asking, did Ace leave anyway while she was doing this great big show of force?
Well, I think Ace would, out of
And sorry,
courtesy,
Bob, just
see what she had to say.
roll to resist drain, Bob. And yeah, so Ace does not open the door and reveal Wolf Okami to Sybil and Mike.
Well,
In and out of character, I don't think I know what this why she did this transformation. But
She's trying to threaten you by turning into a wolf. So, Okami, if you want
Yeah,
to
but
roll intimidation, you may attempt that now with a +5 bonus for the fact that you've got a whole team of wolves with you.
Pretty much all it is just saying, "Don't do this again," or something will happen. Consequences have actions, like what
Yeah,
she
so
said
but
earlier.
roll your
I did pick
intimidation.
that up, but I didn't just connect your transformation to actually be intimidating.
I'm gonna use another edge. Reroll. I want her to get the point. I feel like she would want to make sure to get the point across.
And what do I roll to resist?
Your composure plus the skill rating of your intimidation if you have it.
Let's see.
Skill rating specifically, not the total skill.
Okay.
Seriously? That's it for your composure and intimidation?
I have only 1 point in intimidation.
Huh. Well, I guess Ace just doesn't care about scaring people.
Well, my intimidation is with my other stuff 10 and, 12 if it's mental, but
Right.
I only have 1 point put into it.
Right. And so Ace, so Frosty, you as a human being probably aren't all that scared of wolves. But bear in mind, Ace comes from a superstitious culture. He comes from China, where magicians are not to be trifled with. So Ace would definitely get the message loud and clear that Okami is insane and will murder and eat him.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you know what the Japanese did in World War II?
Yeah.
I am receiving the message loud and clear. Yeah, I think Ace would mutter under his breath, though, as he basically turns around as again ready to leave. I hope you did too.
What's that? So you kind of crackled there at the
He
end.
said, I hope you did too, as in, I hope you got my message loud and clear.
Well, I said I hope you would too, but basically the same thing.
Yeah. Also, consider to go into West End Mike's joke. As a Finn, probably whenever he sees wolves in his yard, he probably treats them as squirrels here in the U.S. Just a minor annoyance.
Squirrels
Try
are
doing
an
it with
annoyance.
the nose. Sorry to interrupt.
Just walks outside, throws a boot at them, and then tells them to get out of his yard.
But I think that just about covers it. We'll take a quick break. Everybody can consider what actions they want to do. We'll wrap up the side break time thing and then proceed to the meeting of the sports team thing, I believe. So, yeah, we'll take a break. We'll come back in about, say, 7 minutes, 7 to 12 minutes, somewhere around there, and resume then. See you all on the side which happens to have been flipped.
User in
With Okami and Ace, I believe, are you returning to the party or are either of you leaving the building?
Okami will return to the party after she gets dressed and goes back to her regular form.
All right. And you will owe the business 450 new yen, Okami. That's a drop
You
in
pay
the
that.
fucking bucket for you.
I know.
Damn,
He
that
just goes
sounds a lot.
And for smoke.
Yeah, Okami currently has in her pocket over 150 grand. Still nowhere near as rich as Prodigy, though.
Not. I'm not going to comment. Actually, never mind.
Hey, Prodigy, the group needs to borrow 600k. Is that okay? Yeah,
Actually,
just a little drop in the hat.
Not anymore.
Well, yeah, you're now richer than him.
Yeah, currently he has sub 200,000. So
Okay.
I'm going to say you were richer with the number you dropped. That's it.
Hey, Prodigy, are you willing to mow someone's yard for about 100 new yen a week?
Can I
And-
make grounds that do it?
Who wants to do what with the remaining time in the pub before the evening?
I have a few ideas.
Sounds so worrisome, but go on.
Well, firstly, as I posted a while back, Whiskey is kind of checking out Cage, probably when they're smashing kegs and such, and later Whiskey would go to Pirate and say, "Hey sis, are you still single?"
Whiskey, you ask me that question every day since we reunited.
Yeah, and every day you haven't fixed it yet.
No, I am not currently seen or dating anyone.
Are you still into manly men? Or are you into manly men at all, actually? I've never really found that out.
Whiskey, it's not the look or the visuals, it's more, see, it's some kind of mental connection, right? I think I've told you this before. Multiple times.
Yeah, but I can't look into their heads now, can I? Okay, but I know enough. Thank you, it's fine.
That she's gonna speak up. That hasn't stopped you from before from trying to crack open a couple of guys' heads and just checking anyway. You're not gonna do that again, are you? Whiskey? Whiskey? Oh
So-
my god, she's gonna go assault someone.
So, Cage!
By the way, you guys probably heard her saying that out loud. But are you not gonna go assault someone, are you? And you trying to call Whiskey's name?
But Whiskey has called for Cage. What does Cage say in reply? Cage will say, want to continue the party?
Well, of course. But I was wondering, are you a single fella?
Are you really trying to hook your sister up with the Cyclops where she only really makes it to his shin at best?
Yes, for science.
Oh! Oh! Ow!
Okay, so you're
I don't
just
want to be
going
in the room
full...
anymore.
Okay, so you're going full Greek mythology then. Okay.
Cage will say, single. I mean, I live by myself.
I thought you were just saying that you were that active in getting dates. Size queens love you. I'm not going to explain that one.
I'm hoping everyone here, except maybe Andre, understands the reference.
Yes, I get it.
What was the reference again?
So,
Nope.
Nope.
at
Not
Cage's
going there.
reaction, Whiskey would kind of be like, oh, alright, good to know. Don't think there will be a mental connection here.
Sharp. Voin, you love doggies, right? Or did she grow out of that?
Oh god, I just thought of something. Whiskey, how about we make one of our grandparents behave just like that, always trying to a little matchmaker grandmother for us.
Sounds like it. I mean, Gotta keep the bloodline going.
Yeah.
So Whiskey's hanging out with Cage, smashing stuff in the alleyway. The rest of you have free run of the bar, apparently, because, you know, the person who's actually supposed to be working isn't.
So they're bartenders.
Who's
Although-
already attending to everybody else, and you were
That's
all
true.
established as a party under Whiskey. So, yeah.
That's true.
Bones and Aurenial are apparently chatting until Okami comes back. Okami, are you going to tell Aurenial to stop speaking to the man?
It's very polite and very proper. And
What
most
is-
likely in Russian.
Bones doesn't know Russian.
Yeah, it would be English.
Well, I mean, Bones knows a fair amount of languages. He knows Arabic, English, Spanish, Mandarin, but he doesn't know Russian.
In that case, it would have to be English.
Okay.
So, yes, does Okami show up upset that her ward is speaking with a man?
Is she sexist?
Did we lose a Bobob?
No, just here, sorry. Cat. Sorry.
She's not just... She's racist and speciesist.
Who are we talking about?
Okami.
Oh. No, she's... not really racist. He's most speciesist when it comes to Katya.
Sexist.
Not really sexist either, no.
I apparently forgot that you're prejudiced and outspoken over any form of feline, Okami.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, like I said,
shit.
speciesist.
That means Aurenial and Winter.
Yes, Aurenial has a pet cat. Okami, would you have put very special rules in place about Aurenial keeping the cat the fuck away from you?
Not allowed in my bedroom. You're the one who takes... You're the one who takes care of its feeding and the cleaning up of the litter box.
And
And
all
that
the
thing-
fur.
And the fur. And that thing better not scratch any of the goddamn furniture. And it better not ruin or disrupt the shrine.
The shrine has sand in it, doesn't it?
Yes.
I can see where this is going.
Yes, it would. It would also be a lot of things dedicated to various Shinto gods as
Yes.
well.
So, Aurenial, you're going to have to keep your cat under very close watch or locked in a cage, or else I imagine Okami will eat it.
Because it better not be taking a shit or using it as a litter box where we're supposed to put the burning incense.
So,
I'm getting
yeah.
an echo from Bobob.
Yep. Just wanted to make sure you understand, Aurenial, that your cat is not welcome in Okami's home, but she's putting up with it. You just have to understand it's in a very severe situation that is going to basically stress the cat out and make it feel not at all safe, really, living in Okami's place.
You would ask... She might have asked Heinrich. I believe they did work together on one mission.
You haven't seen Heinrich since coming to London.
Well, when she found out that she was going to be living with Okami, because of the whole mentorship, she may have, back in Russia, before everybody left, she may have asked Heinrich, can you take care of my cat? It's not very welcome in Okami's house.
Would Heinrich be offended by the young woman suggesting that he is an animal keeper?
No, because he just mainly looks around. He looks at Siegfried, looks at Hilda.
But those animals have a function. Those are your mounts. A
Yeah,
cat
cats would catch
is-
around as rat catchers.
So he would desire to have the cat?
Well, remember where they're living. It's probably going to be a rodent problem.
No. You
Really?
don't remember where they're living.
I thought they lived in like the low income part of the housing. Because we don't live out in the boonies, because we couldn't say it's like, oh, that would be like a 3-hour commute.
Thrax
The animals are
wouldn't mind
kept at the local zoo.
Thrax wouldn't mind taking care of the cats, but the dogs might
You,
eat it.
you don't know that person yet. For some
And the dogs
reason,
might eat it.
Thrax or Heinrich, I don't seem to have your updated lifestyle information.
Neither do I, because we went over that actually before we took Heinrich in here.
That's probably the information I lost that time Chummer crashed.
That sucks.
We'll have to resort that out. And besides, the cat is not a pressing priority right now. Just keep it in mind, and somebody can wind up with the cat. But
Could be Pirate and Henry.
do Pirate and Henry like cats?
It's low maintenance, so it's not something Pirate wouldn't mind.
And
This
Henry's
one-
okay, all right. So from magic people to magic people, and they're all women. It's like,
And it's just
it's-
Well,
wait a minute, is Bones the first male magician?
just trying to think here real quick.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Magician, yes.
Ace is technically
Adept.
magician,
No.
isn't he?
Adepts are different, but
Okay.
Okami, Erenial, Henry, Pirate. I'm pretty sure we've got at least one other magician kicking around too.
I think it was someone
Katya.
Nyx.
Katya, thank you. There we go.
Yeah, Nyx was no.
Wow.
Makes us a
Previous
pixie.
campaign.
Nyx was a mystic adept. Anyway, we're way off topic here.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Any other specific activities in the bar, or have we pretty much exhausted everything we wanted to do in the bar?
Just like Whiskey yelling out. Sorry, Pirate yelling out to Whiskey. Please don't assault anyone again.
We already had that.
Okay, just want to make sure on that.
We were trying to find out if Okami's going to stop the conversation between
Right.
Reniel and
Right.
Bones.
That's what we left off on.
Oh yes.
Depends on how Bones is approaching this.
Professionally and courteously, I imagine?
Yes.
So yeah, that's not gonna kick off any of the feral instincts that are still going on in Okami's head.
All right. And Bones, will you also try to get chummy with Okami?
Probably a bit, yeah.
Do you want to roll an etiquette?
Sure.
So we know that you wanted to have a high base charisma. As a magician, you'll probably also take the increase charisma spell, wouldn't you?
That would make sense.
Would you have that active while in the bar?
When we walked into the bar, and then the cat more or less shut him down. That's probably when he started to learn it.
Learn it? You mean activate
Sorry,
it?
activate it. Yes, thank you.
Okay. So we haven't finished his character, but I'll say he was careful enough to cast the spell at not a high enough force to actually hurt himself, and he can basically maxing out your charisma with a spell is an easy thing, even for a dryad. So go ahead and use the augmented maximum of your charisma, plus what would you want in your etiquette? 3, 4, 5?
Currently, it's sitting at 3.
Okay, so max charisma plus 3 for the glamour. Go ahead and roll. Okami, how do you feel about 4 hits worth of polite man?
I'm sorry, just a sec. Because
Yeah, wait a minute. That seems low.
Seems pretty low for a guy who's
Five.
trying to be
Full
billed as a
assist.
face.
So,
Wait a minute. Is that your spell casting?
yes.
You should have declared force then.
I said 4.
I
Then I
did
said,
not-
great, I got all 4.
I did not hear
should-
that at
okay,
all.
It'll be in the recording.
None of us heard
No.
it.
No?
Yeah, you
Oh,
were not
shit.
broadcasting.
I heard
definitely
something,
was,
but
'cause
I
was
didn't hear
mumbling to
anything
myself
clearly.
the entire time. But I apologize. I do believe I meant to say 4 at the very least.
Right. Well, little hint in the future: when casting spells,
type it
odd
out.
number forces are better than even number forces
Are they? Okay.
because the drain value only increases alternating. So
Every even number is +1 to the drain.
Oh, so but I needed 4. I needed 5 to get to the max thing.
you're one
Okay.
short of max. Okay.
Short of max.
I just hear Ray ask to offer you cheese.
Yeah.
Nom nom nom. What kind of cheese? Okay, 9 hits. Okami, does that impress you?
Yeah, especially with what she just had to deal with Ace.
Then watch Bones do the exact same thing to her. Like they're on a job together and he finds out Nathan's in town, drops everything and runs.
No. Nathan said, the next time I see you, you better be on my level. So
Get on my level, scrub? Really?
yes. Well, I mean,
Wow.
literally enough people died in his company that he's like, it's worthless to run with you guys because I have to carry the load. So more likely, Bones would put in twice the amount of effort, or attempt to, or be like trying to, kind of wanting to leave, to not like embarrass himself in front of him again.
So
I see,
pretty much
okay.
you would put in that Japanese office worker effort then.
Sure.
112%. Okay. So why was Aurenial rolling composure?
Because that's how well he's talking to her too.
Yeah, that's
Look.
true. And then
The-
she's like, "Oh no, wait a second."
Because she's very proper, traditional Japanese.
Yep, but Bones is just doing etiquette. He's being appropriate. He's being encouraging, gentle. He's not seducing. He's not implying anything. He's just being very, very, very polite.
Professional.
He's being a very
Yeah.
good person. At the same time, if not, then I just put a link in the TeamSpeak that would probably be accurate.
Yes, that is the problem, is that he is indeed kind of hot. Not as hot as some other people, but hot enough.
Yeah, she's kind of getting that feeling. I could possibly be attracted to this man.
Problem is she into gay guys? Is she a fake egg?
He doesn't know that.
What? Yeah.
What?
I don't know that. I don't think
Fake egg. You haven't heard of fake eggs?
never in my life.
No.
I've heard that term before, but I've never understood the meaning of that.
Okay, do you know what a hag is?
Nope.
A hag? Like
Yes.
H-A-G?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily a witch, but an unattractive woman, basically.
An ugly old woman.
Yeah. So a fake hag is an older woman who just loves the gay men.
Oh, so one of my aunts then.
Oh.
But Aurelio doesn't know that Bones is gay.
No, that's true.
You could roll a judge intentions on him when he like looks at Thrax's muscles.
I don't think I think he's professional enough to not do that. Now looking at Ace, what's Ace's body and strength?
Doesn't matter. He's dressed really good.
That's true, so we can't really tell, because that's the more the body shape of Nathan, and although he doesn't have the right face, he obviously doesn't have the anything that Nathan has except the body. He could work.
He'll be an okay meantime guy.
But by this point, does it look like we're all done in the bar?
He has an
Can I
Okami, a Randy
can I
Hill.
add one late night detail?
Sure.
Probably somewhere by the end of the night, Whiskey would probably start insisting that all the remainders head to the strip club part of the club, and she would try to perform.
And Pirate immediately casts Bind.
She would cast Bind at such a high level, she would probably kill herself and cause Whiskey to be permanently just not be able to move her body.
That would earn her a tirade of cursing.
She's dead, so she can't hear it.
Is Whiskey actually going to try to encourage everyone to watch her in the strip part of the bar?
Yes. And it wouldn't be the first time she performed there.
Might be the first time Pirat's hearing about this, though.
Yeah. And she's gonna immediately speak up. If any of you watch my sister on that stage, I will end you.
So I think the best thing to do here is those of you who want Pirate to end you, go ahead and move your token to the right of Henry. Those of you who want to just get the fuck out of here, bring your token below the threshold below Voin and Thrax. Those of you who just want to stay in the bar until you pass out drunk, stay in the bar.
It depends on Bones, because Bones is actually providing some polite compensation.
It'd be
where's
very
Pirate?
obvious
I
that
believe
Bones would be wanting out. And then Athena sees the party's dying and is also leaving. At the same time, isn't this the place we're supposed to be getting the job invite?
Not on the same day.
Okay, so how do Cage and Bones get the invite?
Pretty simply, it looks like you've made your connections and now you are in with Khaled. Basically, I imagine Bones, right after being done here, would contact this. Oh no, sorry, what's her new name? Cattlefish, Caledfish, however it's pronounced. And she'd be a potential fixer, so he'd be chatting her up and seeing, I'm interested in working, and I've got a big guy who's got big muscles who's also interested in working. Sounds like appropriate discussion. Before you speak, Hunter, I asked Twister a question.
What? Sorry, I am still thinking. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah?
that'd work.
Okay. So that's how you'll be able to get that job offer and the future job offers as well. Hunter, you had something?
how drunk is Sybil?
How much did she actually drink?
Well, right after leaving that Faraday cage, she went downstairs with Mike and got a big fucking drink.
Mike, would you have allowed Sybil to get smashed?
Yep, he knows that it's not pleasant for her. So yeah.
And, she loses her gag reflex when she's been drinking. So sure, Mike, be really irresponsible and let your basically elf equivalent of a teenager date get super smashed.
You're assuming she has one when she's sober.
Okay, then. So, Mike, I imagine you're basically fireman carrying her out of the bar.
No, I'm just trying to find out how drunk is she.
That's not, how much did she drink? I mean,
One Jaeger bomb and then one large drink.
Okay, and then how long is she staying?
Likely towards the end of the night.
So, given metabolism, she'd probably eventually work off those 2 drinks.
Uh, I just figured I'd ask in case finding out what penalty she'd be at for drunkenness.
Are you planning to do anything where you need to roll?
Composure.
For what purpose?
Probably to reply to my comment when I up here. If you scroll up just a little.
Is there contact? Oh, about going into the dance club area? Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Okay, then if you want her to be smashed, go ahead and roll smash. This isn't a mission. You this is role play. You can go ahead and make these calls on your own. If you don't know what your character would do, give yourself a threshold, give yourself a penalty, and roll.
I'm going to say her threshold is 4 hits, and Sybil does something a little stupid. Less than that, she's fine. She's just too drunk to. Let's go home. Oh, let's go to another club.
Okay, so we'll probably leave at a certain point.
To a different club that's amateur night.
Right.
Henry, Voin, Ace, Katya, Carbon Copy. Okami left, so I think Arenil you might want to catch up with. Yeah, there you go.
She kind of wanted to stay and hang out, but Okami left and okay.
Since when does Voin not go to strip joints? Especially when specifically invited.
Maybe she just doesn't want to see Whiskey perform. They all don't think she's sexy.
Or we just believe that Pirate would follow through on her threat.
Okay, so Henry is like, I'm done tonight. Even though Henry is a night creature, she just doesn't want to have to deal with Voin after hours. Okay. And of course, the dogs would not be allowed in the strip joint. You'll have to figure out either some way to convince the bouncer to allow it or to do something else with them, Thrax.
Making part of Whiskey's show.
Did Pirate suggest that?
No, I said that out of character.
Yeah, I
Pi-
think it'd just be
I think best thing he can do is try to use leadership to kind of command through, like, I'm here. I am with Whiskey. Actually, yeah, I'm still working on Thrax's voice.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out a best voice for Bones, because I have
You
one
don't have
for
to.
everyone else.
But
Right,
yeah,
so
I'll
should
make
you
a
just say?
leadership roll.
Ray thinks I should drink some gravel.
gravel or gravel.
Yes.
You can always take up smoking.
Either way, I'm making a joke. She doesn't actually want that.
Was that meant to be whiskey or Thrax?
That was meant to be Thrax, sorry.
Right. Well, the bouncer's like, fuck no. No smelly hounds or their smelly owner allowed in the strip club without paying the proper dues. You, as a hobgoblin, I'm guessing, with those big old tusks, or fangs or whatever. Standard fee for any metahuman. Them dogs. See, boss never really expected people to bring dogs in, so there's a rule saying dogs don't come in. So you kind of getting what I'm saying?
I'm gonna roll composure because those first comments sounded rather insulting to Frax.
Well done. Facts can remain composed.
Congratulations. He does not assault the bouncer.
The bouncer, who, by the way,
Yes.
is a troll.
Yeah, I figured. But that would not, if Frax is pissed enough, that wouldn't stop him. But how much did he name a price?
Regular fee for regular Joe Schmo is 25 new yen. Are you actually getting involved, Cage? Didn't actually say anything racist. He actually called Thrax by his actual species popular name, Hobgoblin. That's not a derogatory statement. But Cage likes to fight, so maybe Cage is egging the guard on. All right, well, Cage says, "Hey, bud, is this little guard giving you trouble?" And yes, Cage, you are taller than this troll. Not by a lot, but enough.
And Frax would be like, no, he's just being normal guy. I will pay for this. But I will want, I need, either you watch my dogs or I bring them in. It's either one of those.
Is Whiskey going to get involved with this at all?
I think eventually, yes. She was like, oi, Larry, don't be giving all that crap. I mean, I need to have a good, decent audience here of proper men. And the rest of the sissies all fucked off.
Yeah, but these fucking dogs. Dog. I only see one. I thought there were two dogs a minute ago. Where the fuck? Wait, it's right there. The fuck?
Yeah, look,
These dogs. Whiskey.
I've had them downstairs all night and
Yeah,
they have not caused any damage or trouble. I think they can behave themselves.
Okay, so Whiskey's gonna have to make a roll on Larry here.
Can I make it etiquette since she's fairly
Yeah,
light?
yeah, you could go ahead. Do an etiquette. And Cage says he must be pretty scared of your dogs, Thrax. To which the bouncer would reply to Cage, "Nah, I'm afraid of Pulford and what he'd do to me if I let something in here that causes a mess." However, Whiskey you owe me for this, but you know, like just make sure your show tonight is like the way I like it. And sure, these people can bring their pets in for the night.
You're a man of class and taste, Larry. I'll
Fucking
get you
A.
what you like.
Good, good.
I'm gonna
So-
I'm gonna
So-
say Katya's going.
Without Ace?
Gives her more ways to examine people for mannerisms.
Yes, but she just got up with Ace. She's been patently begging for him. She's going to abandon him that quickly?
She is
Have
a
you
cat.
owned a cat?
Same comment.
Her knees were filled, now she's gone. Just like the real cat.
She can examine more mannerisms later.
Okay. Cage, how long into the strip acts is it going to take before you realize that this is a sex show?
Well, is it a sex show? Because you said it was also a burlesque show.
Yeah, no. Before Whiskey takes the stage, there are other women as well.
Ah, okay.
So possibly even men, actually. So depends on how segregated this is. So what will Cage's response be? Is he going to stick around for this and wait for Whiskey to do her show? Or does he realize, wait, this isn't actually my scene? Okay. Composure is usually what the role is, but you could do willpower if you'd prefer, because this is not a combat or mission based situation. So I'll let you roll what you feel you need to roll. Okay, so just up and go and gone, I guess. Well, he is a forge master, Frosty, so maybe he was expecting like metal stripping.
That just makes me think that,
Or maybe
Cage
he
just
thought it was like a
naive.
comic show.
Sorry, Frosty, what was that?
That just makes me think that if Cage is really that naive.
Right, so is Cage leaving then, Andre? Now that he realizes the situation. Yeah. All right, so probably not even much of a goodbye. Just, oh, well, this isn't my scene, and gone. See you at the bar sometime. Bye. Okay. So it
Later,
literally
kid.
is El Diablo watching El Diablo doing a striptease burlesque. Fantastic.
And
Alright.
yeah, Frax isn't even all that interested in Whiskey's show. So Whiskey will go to bed that night kind of sad and depressed. Because she thinks everyone doesn't think she's sexy.
Oh, Larry will call out for Whiskey to show more. So
Well, she'll please Larry, but still, all her teammates did not think she's sexy, and that's hurtful.
Or, like I said, we just didn't want to risk Pirate's wrath.
People are more afraid of your little midget sister than they are of big, strong you, Whiskey. Another
Exactly.
reason to feel sad.
It has nothing to do with that, such an, asking somebody to come and watch you strip is not normal at all. Like, nothing to do with
What?
that.
What world are you from? Obviously not the same world that Whiskey's from.
Obviously not the same world as you are from.
Indeed.
All right. So I think that about does it for everybody's barroom bash.
Shouldn't it be a barroom blitz?
Well, with everybody like just leaving when Whiskey says, "I'm gonna go strip," and everyone's just go for the door.
As soon as Whiskey says that, everyone turns to Pirate, and she's just going foaming at the mouth, going full rabbit, just saying, "I dare you."
Well, Mike did say, "I'm sorry, Whiskey, but Pirate can make our heads explode with her mind."
Wait, can I learn a spell that does that?
You have
That is
napalm,
one of the expressions of a mana bolt.
and
Ooh.
you could cause napalm to originate inside of someone. See what happens there.
Don't they need a line of
Oh,
sight? And that's
oh, you're
what it-
right. Sorry. Yeah, napalm is a indirect spell, isn't it?
Yeah, so I need.
Oh, okay.
I just cover an area in flaming liquid.
Right. Sorry. So it would have to be a direct version of napalm that would cause someone's head to explode.
Like I said,
So,
a mana
yeah.
bolt can do this.
Yeah.
Besides, I have a feeling that if Sybil had nailed one more hit, things might have gone a little different.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII boss music plays.
No, it wouldn't be that they'd be watching Whiskey. It'd be Sybil up on stage as well.
Honestly, Pirate wouldn't care if Sybil wants to dance up there. Whiskey's another issue.
Yeah, but Sybil cares, so.
Yeah, they go to amateur night.
Okay. Well, I believe that wraps that up. So flip back to the out of nest window, and you'll see there's a new token visible.
It looks like a detective.
He looks kind of like what I would expect Castle to look like if Castle is actually more mob-ish. Yeah.
So this will be taking place on the 29th at the same Hammersmith bar. And the people who'd be showing up are apparently Okami, Durandal, West End Mike, Bones, Cage, Thrax, Ace, and Katya. All of these people were also at the Hammersmith for the lovely party. So you'd
Lovely is
probably
debatable.
you'd arrive, I imagine, on time or before. Is anyone intentionally showing up late?
No. Not. Also, this dude's got some seriously broad shoulders the more I look at his token.
Literally, his shoulders dip right at the edge of the token ring. So, like you just imagine that his shoulders coming down right where the ring stops.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of like those Koopas from the Super Mario Brothers movie because the head does not match the shoulder width, at least in how it looks to me. Oh, could just be he has shoulder pads in that jacket. He just wants to go full like
He's
70s
just
and
what?
80s.
He just looks broad-shouldered to me.
Yeah, just the closer I look at him, the more it doesn't seem like proportionate, at least for me.
Katya would
And,
probably
yeah.
arrive a little early.
Okami will show up on time, if not like 5 or 10 minutes early.
Thrax, how about you?
I see no reason why he's not on time. What time of the day is it?
The meeting would be arranged for the early evening, like 5
All
p.m.
right.
or so.
Yeah, he will be on time then.
Just in time, basically, for the crowd to start shuffling in little by little, so it's not too unusual. But actually, no, I guess, well, this is a pub more than a bar. So, yeah, there would be people here, even for the really shitty soy based French fries and stuff like that, too. But yeah, so Katya, Thrax arrives with Deimos and Phobos because apparently they always go everywhere with them.
Katya gives a
So long as not daytime, then yes.
Well, sun's still out at 5 p.m.
Well, Katya doesn't know that he's there for the mission, so she's just gonna stare at him and the hounds.
In that case, Phobos might not be there.
So you leave Phobos locked in a kennel at home?
Well, not it would not be locked. Basically, the door will be open if he is at home.
Okay, so just the one. But then again, none of you. Phobos disappears so easily anyway, it's really hard to tell if he's present. It would cause all of you to be paranoid, frankly.
Except for Katya.
Oh, dual
With that
natured.
dual-natured,
Right. Okay. Even still, no one is arriving late. So basically, you're arriving right on time. And your Mr. Johnson, James Barton, who would have been introduced to you by Lewis Earl, because Lewis Earl is the fixer who does the, business contacts. This gentleman, he is he is a big set, heavy set fella. Looks like he's probably in his youth he probably could have beat up some of you, but nowadays he's looking a little bit older, so maybe at best he could beat up Okami and Ace, maybe. I mean, either of them could probably still take him one-on-one just because they have magic, but any of you who try to sense him, you'll be able to tell straight up he has no magic. He does have augmentations, though, but you'd only realize he has augmentations if you get a lot of hits on your sensing, because they're high-quality augmentations.
And I'm guessing he's not loaded to the hill with them.
No. I mean, he's got enough to be clear that he has the money to make sure that he's protected. And despite the bar being officially a no-smoking establishment by the law of London, Whiskey and Whiskey's boss don't care if people actually smoke here, and so he's got a nice fine cigar that any of you who's ever smelt real cigar can tell that is a damn fine real cigar. Those of you who've only ever smelt soygars will be like, this is a lot more pleasant.
And Katya, who may have neither, is like, okay.
Yes, as a cat, the smell probably isn't all that appealing to you.
Especially since she has enhanced smell.
Yeah. Deimos, on the other hand, is kind of like, I like this guy. He can smoke too. Cage, however, thinks it's disgusting. Will Cage express that at all? Okay. So, yeah, he's basically going to be arriving at the same time as the rest of you, but instead of coming through the front door, he's coming from another part of the Hammersmith. coming into the bar space. And he'll have his comlink active in a mode where he is broadcasting his identity as Mr. Johnson. But he's going to walk up to you at the prearranged location and say, "How you doing, folks? Name's James Burton." Sorry, James Barton. That was me as the GM screwing up that. He would not screw up his own name. And packing character, but I suppose you'd all call me Mr. Johnson instead. So let's stick to that. I'm Mr. Johnson. And he offers to shake each of your hands.
Hello, Mr. Johnson. Shit, damn it. Hello,
You went to a
Mr. Johnson. It's good to meet you.
It's good to meet some genuine Shadowrunners. Ha!
Katya hesitantly shakes his hand.
Anyone who
politely.
anyone who wants to can roll a judge intention in advance just to try and get a read on this guy throughout the entire conversation. Durandel introduces herself as Durandel and shakes the hand as well. Wait. Well, fuck, Mike. Jeez. Oh,
Where are the rolls
Bones.
when I actually need them?
Oh, Bones.
What are we all rolling? Judge intentions?
If you wanted to, it's not necessary.
And when she shakes his hand, she's like, Katya.
So West End Mike, do you just like have a full-on like file on this guy that you just immediately pull up with all of his
No.
like?
No. West End Mike is writing the file on this guy.
He's doing the freaking Vulcan mind melt.
I just think it's hilarious how West End Mike gets 9 hits and 0 ones, whereas Bones gets 0 hits and 4 ones with the exact same dice pool of 12.
But
So-
yes, Mike would shake his hand.
So we're talking like full-on like Sherlock Holmes movie with stuff like that kind of slow motion breakdown of the guy.
No, it's more like Mike just knows this kind of person. He's done business with this kind of guy all his life. This
Yeah, like
is
come to think of it, before Shadowrunning.
exactly the point. Yes, this is the kind of guy who Mike made his career trying to sell things to. You want to actually introduce yourself there, Al Diablo?
Yes, I am Thrax, the unbeatable.
Austrian now.
Yeah, sorry, this is a hard one, hard accent. I know what it is supposed to sound like, but it's hard to pin down.
So just keep watching videos on Turkish accents until you can repeat it verbatim.
I might actually do that at some point.
There are a lot of really good Turkish rip-off movies of other popular movies you can watch that are entertaining.
But I wasn't trying to bully him, Andre. I was.
I'm pretty sure Andre knows. But Okami and Ace, you both get the same read on this guy. He's corporate. He's not AAA corporate. Hell, he's probably not even AA corporate, but he's corporate through and through, and he's high up on the corporate rung at whatever business he's in. He's got confidence. He's got hubris. If you wanted to take him for a ride, you probably could, especially Ace. But he's the one hiring you, and judging by his stern demeanor, yeah. Oh, whoa! Fuck, that was noisy. What the hell was that?
Somebody just start vaping.
It sounded like someone just ate their microphone. Where was I? Oh, Cage also got 5 hits. Okay, Cage, I'll give you your own unique description of this guy in a moment. But Ace and Okami, you both know he's not the kind of guy to trifle with unless you can do a really good job of selling that it wasn't your fault and you did everything in your power to not let him get screwed over. And even then, he might still hold you responsible. So, something to keep in mind. Cage, what you see is a disgusting, kind of slobbish person who has no respect for themselves or anyone else. That this guy is kind of the epitome of the weak-willed corporate shill kind of filth. Yeah, like this guy, he has potential and he squanders it. He could have been something. He could have done something significant with his life, and instead he's just feeding into the self-destructive nature of humankind. And Mike, hell, you've probably actually, you know, I'm going to say go ahead and roll your edge here, Mike. And if you get even 2 hits, you've worked for this guy before. That's not a real glitch. Lucky you. And so yeah, Mike, he will actually recognize you as well and say, "Good to see you again, Mike. Always a pleasure." And that's assuming Mike had introduced himself as Mike in previous jobs.
Yeah, I'm sure he would have.
Okay. And the other thing you know about this guy, Mike, is he's played up to everyone else that, you know, it's interesting to meet Shadowrunners for the first time. You know this guy's hired Shadowrunners in the past.
Well, obviously.
Yeah. But his nice to see you again, Mike, would have been private, like an AR or something, and he would have given you a wink.
Yeah, I don't think I worked for him when I was at Catco, so yeah.
Well, even then, you have probably heard dossiers of this guy. He's a mover and shaker within London, and he has a great deal of money and wealth under his name. Some of it was his father's money, and some of that was his grandmother, technically, before that. So he comes from money. But he does a good job of continuing the family legacy and not blowing all the cash. However, he does have one weakness. He loves Battle Ball. And he especially loves it when the team he owns wins. So this year has been a very good year. Or this season has been a very good season for him. Because he is the owner of the West Hammers.
All right. So, guessing you didn't call us here to get you coffee. What's going on?
Well, not get me the coffee, but
Some
well,
Turkish coffee would be nice.
right. Well, maybe it'll be good for my players because you see, I hope you all follow Battle Ball because the West Hammers, they are doing sweet as sweet can be this season, and well, I don't know if you heard the bad news. They did lose their coach, Mr. Wallace, this year. Bless his heart, he was a good man. But I made a promise to my boys that, you know, if they came ahead this year and made it to the finals, or semifinals rather, and they got up against the well, again, I hope you've all been following Battle Ball this year, but the East End City West Men's Battle Ball team, you know, they were the team to beat last year, and I thought, well, you know, they're probably going to be the team to beat this year too, considering they took the cup last year. But so I promised my boys that if they got to the semifinals against the East End City West Men, so the West Men's for short, for those of you who aren't following Battle Ball, but you should follow Battle Ball. Battle Ball is great. If they got to these guys, I would make sure that they had a night on the town before the big game. Now I know that that's the sort of thing Coach Wallace wouldn't approve of, but bless him and bless these boys. They have put everything into really honoring Mr. Wallace. And, I think they deserve to have a good night out on town. And that's why I'm looking to you, genuine Shadowrunners, to give them that treatment. Yeah. Just don't party too hard. But make sure they have a good, fun time. Make sure that all their needs are met. Make sure they're happy. Make sure they're well fed, but not overfed. Some of them got calorie intake limits. And he kind of waggles his finger and kind of drops his head to kind of give you that stern parental kind of look. But
Could
immediately, immediately that just kind of evaporates, and he continues without missing a beat. That I'll give you some information on these boys as well, so you know what sort of things they're into, and just be aware they're all sinless. And that's the reason a lot of them are in Battle Ball. Other than for a love of the sport, like any good man should have. They're doing this because when their contracts are up, they get to be genuine sinners, just like me. And that's why I can't do this for them. You see, I'm a reputable individual. I have to make sure I'm not found at unfortunate locations. This place here, the Hammersmith. It's good to know that they've got all their mandatory paperwork signed and done. Although he kind of gives a little sniff and looks around. It's like I'm a little confused about how some of that paperwork got approved, but yeah. So yeah, all of you, I'm sure you look like you know how to party, and just make sure my boys have the best damn night of their life, and that they're back by 9:30 p.m. curfew and ready the next morning to kick some West men's ass. And then he would stop and allow the rest of you a chance to actually speak.
Katya has her head tilted and what's Battle Ball?
So does anyone want to save Katya before James bears down on her?
Frax kind of goes like, it is a sport, and it is very combative. It is good. However, I don't follow the teams because I am out in wilderness a lot.
It's a very brutish and violent sport that's rather popular with the masses, but I prefer other forms of entertainment, honestly.
That would explain why I don't know about it. I've lived in the wilderness for most of my life.
I've got people literally living under rocks here. I thought I was told that you guys know how to party.
Well, I know how to party. I also know that at 9:30 the party is barely beginning. But
Well, yeah, see, that's why I need Shadowrunners. And then Durandel pipes in and says, it looked really cool, she would say after having seen some while on Tridio while grounded. But yeah, James is like, I know that normally 9:30 is when the party's just getting started for regular parties. That's why I came to you. Out of character, Mike, you should really be bearing in here. Bones, maybe you as well. Ace, come on. You three are the social people here. You should be feeding Barton exactly what he needs to hear. Cage will say it has some of the best violence around. And Barton will point to Cage and say, hell yes, you would be a fantastic player, by the way, young man. Well, I mean, probably an enforcer rather than a baller, but yeah.
I would be too, and I am also sinless.
Well, if you ever find that Shadowrunning ain't doing it for you anymore, here's my card. And he gives a digital AR card.
So we take them out on the town. We give them whatever particular things they want that won't leave them unable to play the next day. Anything else we need to worry about? Beyond too much drink?
Well, like I said, my boys, they're a diverse bunch, we'll say, and I'll give you dossiers, you could call them, on the boys, and just watch out for a few of the little red flags that are in the files.
So if I can ask,
Oh, sorry, Frosty, did you want to say what Ace is saying?
Yep. So, in short, you want us to babysit? And he would do physically the with his fingers. The team and keep them entertained and safe, and then return them to the hotel at curfew.
Before curfew, but not too far before curfew, because you don't want them to feel cheated. And I mean, babysit. Don't use that word in front of them. You are being hired to be their chaperones and friends for the day. Not their nannies.
I meant no disrespect with that. It's just was the
so
first
is
appropriate term that came to my mind. Apologies.
so are the Hammersmiths, is that or the what was it, West Hammers? Yes, are the West Hammers a local team or are they invading?
Well, we're all local to London. See, we are the London League, but my boys are from the west end of town. The East Westmans are from the west end of the east part of town. Long rivalry.
So there might be risk that other team tries to take them out.
Yeah, that's a good joke, son. That's a real good joke.
I was not joking.
Oh, have you seen what the Eastmen have been doing this year? Ferocious, pitiful. They've lost almost a full third of their team.
Actually, Thrax brings up a decent point. If they're that desperate, it wouldn't surprise me if any of them would try and stoop to some dirty tricks. Maybe
Well,
not assassination dirty tricks, but
well, if
poisoning or something.
Okay, well then you can also be their bodyguards on top of being their chaperones and friends.
So
But yeah, so you've got full dossiers on everybody. Anybody you want to mention in particular to start us out, though? Any
vices?
stars we should keep especially close eye on?
Well,
Any vices we should keep an eye out for that may
all,
be
all that is in the files. Just make sure the team captain is especially well taken care of, because you see, he has put his absolute everything into keeping this team together after poor Mr. Wallace passed away. It's really been all up to him that all this has been possible. So make sure that if anybody needs to be treated the best, it's him.
Gotcha. I believe we can handle that.
Yeah.
Out of character, Twister, I haven't heard a thing out of you.
Yeah, it kind of feels like there isn't really a place for him to step in at the moment, because we already have a good voice.
Okay, fair enough.
So how much you paying?
Was that Okami?
Yeah.
Out of character, did someone remember what amount I had listed in the
There was no amount.
It was high
given?
pay,
Oh, no,
low danger.
high pay,
Yes.
low danger? Okay,
Yeah.
so I've got a amount of 25,000 new yen with 10,000 paid up front, just to make sure that you can get everything arranged by this Friday, to make sure that all my boys' needs are taken care of in advance.
Out of character.
Sorry. Yes, it would be this Friday. And sorry, 25,000. Yes.
Plus 10,000 in advance.
No, not plus 10,000. 25,000 total. 10,000 of that right now.
Okay. Because how you said it made it sound like
Yes, that's exactly how he would have phrased it to make you feel like you were getting more.
Yeah, that's barely over 3,000 apiece. Split 8 ways.
Katya's going to speak up. As a female, I'm not going to be expected to do any favors.
No more or less than any of the men here. Mm, you, and he points to Bones. I think you'll be real popular with some of the boys.
Oh, Jesus.
I can understand that, yes.
And even you, and he points over to Thrax. Yeah, we got one or two that are interested in your type too.
Well,
Sorry, Twister, you were going to say something though? Twister, are you there?
Sorry. Yes. Out of character, I don't know how to respond. But but oh my goodness, Bones would probably somehow politely decline, or politely be like, "That's not exactly the job description or job title."
To which, James would, clarify that no, he's not asking you to be whores. But if you take a fancy to them and they take a fancy to you, why not?
I agree with that.
So, do you have any limitations on no-go zones or no-go places that we should take them?
Well, you're
I'm
the
pretty sure-
Shadowrunners. I'm pretty sure you're the ones who are the experts on this town's darker side. Cage will say, yeah, no, he has a friend he's promised to wait for. Oh, talking about Bones.
Yeah.
But yeah,
pretty-
James Barton would then reply to Okami saying he expects all of you to be the ones to know what places are appropriate and what places are too dangerous.
In short, we're the professionals. That's what he's paying us for.
Well, I just want to make sure because even though we're the professionals and that's what he's paying us for, he may or may not have had certain credentials. Like, no, they're not. We're not allowed to take him to a BTL den or something like that.
He did tell you not to put anything in them that would screw them up for the game the next day.
Okay.
But it is fine if we
So
take him
makes-
to a BLT lab.
Yeah, see, I told you that no one thought that joke was funny, El Diablo.
Aww.
Well, see, drugs isn't a no-go. It's just make sure that they're not the kind of drugs that are going to leave a lasting depression.
So no BTLs.
Well, again, it's as long as there's no lasting negative repercussions. If that's what it takes to get them to feel good for themselves without making problems later, go right ahead. Just,
There are no performance enhancement tests in this sport.
Why would there be? They're allowed to take combat stims right on the field.
Okay, just checking.
Oh god, you see one of the front linemen right there just jab a massive amount of kamikaze right there into his chest before the game starts.
And Cage asks, maybe some practice games? And Barton says, well, again, don't break nobody's limbs, big fella, because that costs money and time. And with them being on the field the very next day, I don't want to have to do any emergency limb replacements.
Okay, that seems fair.
All right, then. Give us the files you got on them.
So
We can
everyone's
start
again,
planning out.
Out of character,
yeah.
everyone's so.
Go ahead, Bob. I think you were about to say the same thing I was anyway.
Yeah, I was about to say you. So we're all okay with that split, though. We're not gonna try to talk up for more money.
Nope. But
I was going to, but I was, doing some math here. How many is there in this group to
8.
split between?
It's-
The
Split
number has already been. Bob did the math already.
Well, I didn't hear that.
3,125. Yeah. It's right there when VT posted the cash. It's right below that. 3,125 is the even split if we split evenly among the 8 of us. But pretty sure Thrax's dogs and my spirits aren't gonna get a cut.
Okay, I'm just making sure. No offense, Boba, but your math skills haven't
I know.
impressed me.
Which is why. I know, which is why I just opened up a calculator and typed in 25 grand divided by 8. I'll at least know how to
I
use
was
the
thinking
calculator.
once we get the notes, we can then talk him up. Oh, I see now. Now you got complications in all these files.
You'll have to do some way of convincing him to give you the files before he's out of the bar.
Yeah, that seems to be the issue. Seems like as soon as we get the files, that's the final agreement for the deal.
All right. Should I go ahead and roll negotiation?
Well, Mike, were you in character saying, "Look, all right, we'll take a look at those files"? Were you saying that in character?
I guess it would be, well, let us take a look at those files, and we'll make sure we can keep these boys entertained for 25,000.
Well, it's the 10,000 for the advance, and the further 15,000 once everything's nice, neat, clean, and tidy. But I'll be sure to give you these files once I know that each and every one of you is dedicated to keeping my boys entertained for the, what is that? It'd be about 10 hours of the day. Not that long.
I also want season ticket for games.
Well, sure, you could have tickets for the last 2 games of the season, sure.
No, but seriously, it's... I mean, there's 8 of us. You split that all up, we're not making much per hour here at 25,000. And something tells me nice, neat, and tidy isn't really in your boys' vocabularies.
Well, to be fair here, I mean, you're Shadowrunners. I mean, come on, you've all gone up against the big AAA companies. You've rappelled off the side of buildings. You've driven down a mine-filled roadway. This is Milk Walk. Come on.
How many
Wait, hold
players
on.
are that?
Ace wants to interrupt.
Ace would, would have tried at least chime in after Mike said that seems a little, low. That's, yeah, especially if you are, offering the, 10,000 for expenses, which if that goes to those expenses, that would leave us only with, what was it?
15,000.
Which would work out-
1,875 million.
Yeah, that's less than 200 million an hour. Are you hiring Shadowrunners or actual babysitters?
No. It was never my intent to offend. So, who wants to be the point man on the negotiation roll?
I think Mike should be because he started this conversation and Ace kind of just chimed in.
All right, so Ace, go ahead and roll your negotiation for every 2 hits you receive. West End Mike will get an additional +1 bonus. And on top of that, because we've got another 6 of you, West End Mike will receive an additional +3 just for everybody else being present.
And I'm willing to bet I've got a decent read on him with my empathy software if we've worked together before.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And Twister, you were saying?
Can I also assist in this?
Yes, but in a different way.
I'd like to give him a bonus to his charisma.
There you go. Go ahead and cast a West End Mike. Well, actually, you know what? No, you can't know that information. You have to make this decision on your own. What force are you going to cast that spell on West End Mike with?
I'll I'll say 5. Just to
Okay.
be safe.
All right. So force 5. Go ahead and roll your spell casting.
BT,
Yes.
may I use my adept power of confidence man on this?
What is that function?
Adepts of the Speaker's Way are known for being able to make their marks believe in anything.
Just the stat.
Yeah,
What is?
using this power requires a full action and allows the adept a charisma plus leadership role with the threshold equal to the threshold of the test they wish to help with.
This isn't a threshold test. This is an opposed test.
Okay.
So how much drain is that going to be on you there, Bones?
5 divided by 2 is what? 2.5. So
It-
3 minus 2. So
It-
1. 0.
Really? It's 1?
It's 1.
Force 5 is only... Wow, damn.
Yeah. So
It has
it's
a
only
minus
1,
2,
so I resist it.
yeah.
And Bones, because this is a touch spell, if I recall correctly, you'll basically just put a hand on Mike's shoulder, I imagine.
On his back is the.
Just casual-like.
Actually, can I do this a second time for our assistant, Ace?
Nope, because you're not sitting next to Ace.
Oh, we're sitting down. Okay, sorry, I didn't catch that part.
But yeah, so Bones basically, puts a hand on your shoulder there, Mike, and all of a sudden you feel this surge of confidence. Just kind of, you feel kind of really good about yourself all of a sudden.
Alright, this is taking so long. I'm checking some of my adept things.
Well, the question here, Mike, is are you going to pre-edge this to try and get exploding dice? Or are you going to hold that edge in reserve just in case RNG Jesus bitch slaps you?
I'd personally say
I've got 5 edge. I don't have to choose.
Yes, you do. You cannot do both.
BT?
You can only apply edge to each roll once, and then you can burn an edge because I house rule that you can.
Well, then let's see what we get.
Okay, and Frosty, what were you asking?
Does Cool Resolve affect here? Because
What is the effect of Cool Resolve?
each level of the power adds 1 die to the adept's dice pool for opposed tests involving social active skills.
Does it not specify defending social active skills?
Which he is target/defender.
Yeah, he is not. He's the aggressor in this.
Yeah.
While it is mathematically better, Twister, it also removes the possibility of getting that feeling of, oh, things did not go as well as they could have. Let's then apply it.
Yeah.
So that'll be a +2 from Ace because his translation software. Actually, that's the other thing. Your translation software should have capped you on that. I forgot because you're not speaking English, right?
Well, no.
No. So, right. Ace, we'll say +2 from Ace is appropriate in this case.
So +2 from Ace, +3 from the rest of the group, and +5 from the magic spell.
Indeed, indeed.
We're about to see ungodly levels of negotiation.
Just because I want to see what happens, I'm going to pre-edge this one.
That's a lot of potential explosions. shit.
Well, I've got a +10 on top of a 21 dice pool and then a 5 edge.
Okay, so your total net hits is 9. James kind of sags his shoulders. He loses that shit-eating grin he's had for pretty much this whole conversation. He takes a cigar out of his mouth and just kind of flicks a bit of the ash on the floor next to him, and he kind of gives you a soft death glare. And you can tell, he's not happy about this, but he takes a deep breath. He puts that smile back on his face, shoves the cigar back between his lips, takes a nice deep breath, blows it out up above all your heads, and says, "You know what? I think, you got yourself a very, very good point. Now, oh shit, that's Cage. Oh dear. Actually,
That
Cage,
is
it is into your face because it's over everyone else's heads. Sorry,
Sorry,
Cage.
can you repeat that?
He blew the cigar smoke out above your heads, but
Okay.
Cage is taller than the rest of you.
He's
It's a good thing
touching
that
the
Cage.
ceiling.
It's a good thing that Cage is not Thrax. No, Cage is not touching the ceiling. He's seated in a bar that's big enough for Whiskey to move around with her horns. No, Cage is not touching the ceiling.
Although he's probably really close to it.
He's bigger than Whiskey.
But anyway,
Okay, that did not work the way I thought it would.
Oh, it's because you did star 10. Right above your actual number pad, it should have the actual correct symbol. I'm assuming that's what you're going for.
Trying to get the table cracks and splinters? As a character, how many players are averagely on a Battle Ball team?
35.
So would you have to deal with 35 drugged, chemmed up players for 10 hours?
Not necessarily. Not all of them are into drugs.
Still, that's a decent portion that could just immediately want to cause a riot if they want to.
that's why we're negotiating the pay up.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if at certain points we actually end up having to kind of split up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about slightly over 4 players per person for us to keep our eyes on at all times.
Well, that's a lot more reasonable, especially if, say, a half or a quarter of them turn out to not be much trouble. Sure, some of them would be quite happy to just have themselves a nice meal, maybe attend a show or two, and then be back for the game.
All right. So, I'll put forward 17.5K in advance. 20,000 upon success. Everything goes well. And conjure up from my business about 10K worth of merchandise, tickets, other perks.
That sounds a lot more reasonable. And at that point, Mike would, kind of look to the rest of the group and see if everybody kind of nods.
So that is...
That's 50%
37?
more, by the way, plus merch.
Can Ace do a quick data search?
What is he searching for?
Basically, he's going to check, as he talks about merge, that what kind of merge he's talking about.
It's a sports team.
I know, but Ace would still take a look, because if their merge, well, is shit, do we want it?
Basically, what he's going to get you is like stuff like signed jerseys, various branded materials. What do any of you have sports as a knowledge skill?
In
No, but
character,
I've got
no.
news. So
Okay.
if the West Hammers have been in the news,
News,
that'd probably.
news could work, yes. Okay. Business would be the next big pick, though. Does anyone have business knowledge?
Not on this character.
Nope.
Ace only
Nope.
has
All right,
news.
Desperado, you may go ahead and roll news. Anyone who has news may go ahead and roll their news. Okay, Ace. Oof, indeed. West End Mike, you will know that there have been reports in the news in the past of signed jerseys going for quite a lot of duyen for die-hard fans after, say, a team got the cup that year.
Yeah, that was where my actual brain was going. Is whatever the merch is, if they win, it'd be worth quite a chunk of change.
Yes, but that is a return of investment that could take years, even decades, before it's worth that much, and there's no guarantee.
Of course.
Additionally, there are the claim of other perks. You know that Barton's empire is basically the reason he likes to fund Battle Ball so much is because he's also a marketing company for combat cybernetics.
Everybody immediately gets a private message. Did I forget to mention that this guy runs a combat cybernetics firm? So
No. He doesn't run the combat cybernetics firm. He runs the advertisers for combat. Yeah.
Okay, Len, is involved in the combat cybernetics sales marketing. So therefore would be able to get his hands on some very interesting cyber toys for those who are interested. Advertising samples and such.
I'd be willing to give off. Okay, I'm gonna speak up. I'm willing to give off my share of the cybernetic perks if someone's willing to give me more of the new yen. I have no need for cybernetics.
Well, of course, but I'm just
neither
saying.
does Frax or my friend Cage here. I think.
Cage has no use of cybernetics.
I think no one here really would like cybernetics. In this
Yeah,
Mike would. Mike's happy.
Would.
Yep,
So
and Ace.
literally
Yep.
my-
Well, wait. Why Ace? To what? Sell it?
Ace would mind cybernetics because he's a mage.
Prodigy.
Oh, would mind. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I
so
thought you said
literally
wouldn't.
The only person who would make use of cybernetics would probably be Mike.
But there's a resale market for cyberware. Just
And maybe Durandal?
No, she's got enough bioware. She doesn't need the cyber.
oh shit, that's right. We forgot to roll for Voign's mutation for this job. We're gonna have to remember to do that, Kara.
And also,
Also,
keep in mind, if he's got those connections, let's say one of you gets seriously injured, getting a gene-matched replacement organ, which doesn't damage your essence, can be difficult. Unless you say know somebody in that industry.
That's bioware, not cyberware.
We're still the same industry, is it not?
It's related industries. However, Barton specializes in combat cyberware specifically.
VT, could I make a memory roll to see if either of my two contacts, Dirk Hatferton or Mary Morgan, might be into Battle Ball.
Memory roll won't get you that. You'll have to contact them and ask them.
Okay, well, I'll call Dirk later then.
Okay. And Kara, yeah, you're right. We've gone on a little bit long here, so just to wrap this up more quickly, Ace, you've probably heard news about, let's see here, that was a roll about merch tickets and other perks. You're trying to think of to yourself here, Ace. People have got hurt in Battle Ball stadiums from like collateral damage. Who would want tickets to the freaking Battle Ball stadium as payment? That's ridiculous to you.
The rabid
Especially as
fans
there's
that
only 2 games in the season. Left.
Yeah. So Ace sends a message in AR. We can talk about the split of payment after we know what we're getting and when the actual job is done. And Mike would reply, right.
Yeah. Okami, yeah, anything I said about the split was out of character. Okami says agree.
Okay, so everyone's going to agree with that offer then?
Yes, it's good.
Yes.
Okay. So that'll basically wrap it up with Barton. He'll wish you all a pleasant evening. He'll say he'll pick up the tab for all of you as well. Just don't go crazy with what you're ordering after he's out of here. And as soon as he's basically out the door, he will send the dossiers to you in an encrypted file and the decryption key in a separate AR message.
All right, then. I
I'm
guess
going
that's
to
it for
remind you
tonight.
all.
Sorry, what was that, Twister?
We wanted to get this first so that we had more.
Yeah, you wanted to, and he would not give it to you.
Oh, just
No matter
flat out,
what.
you decided that it would be impossible
yeah,
for us to
that-
get it, basically.
Well, instead, you negotiated for higher pay anyway. So
Yeah.
that's the negotiation that happened. We are running low on time.
Okay.
You've agreed to that amount of money. He's saying thank you. We've got a deal. Here's the info. I'm out. And yeah, so I've received Battle Ball players from some of you. So there's still time for those of you who want to try and get them for next session. I also want to say that there's a few days before you actually, like today's the 29th, you have the 30th and the morning of Friday the 1st to decide what you're going to do, basically. Although, yeah, I might have to retcon something with the post because I think the game was supposed to be Friday night, but that would screw you out of a day of planning. So the game will be Saturday night instead.
Makes more sense.
Yep. And finally, you will also receive contact for someone by the end of the 30th who's from, well, they won't say where they're from. They're different Mr. Johnson who caught wind that you've been offered a deal. He's willing to offer you a counter proposal. 100,000 new yen to sabotage the players so that they are absolutely awful on the day of the game.
We can talk
Alright,
about that
then.
later, I think.
You can talk about it in BBM.
Yeah.
All right, then. I guess that's it for tonight.
Yeah.